Welcome, viewers. It's episode number 10. We have hit double digits. Let's go. Let's celebrate. It's episode 10. I'm excited.
That was a crisp clap, by the way.
Was it really? Thank you. It's
Like
like
that sounded.
it's like
It
how
sounded
Jackson.
great.
It's like how Jackson Dart started his deal. He was like, "What's your go?" What? I don't know if anyone understands that clip.
I know exactly what you're talking
Okay,
about.
thank you, everyone.
Yes, I know.
But anyway, it's episode 10. We've got a bit of a different episode for y'all. Gavin has been on a 2-week excursion since we last got to talk to all of y'all.
Excursion is the right word.
I was gonna say, I think you've been pretty much all over the place. Also, as you can tell, I'm at the beach. I'm on vacation. So if you see my camera lag or anything like that, my bad. We're going mobile. This is the B main on mobile. But Gavin's basically going to just lead. Gavin's just where he's always at. He's a little bit less mobile than me. He's mobily slow on his wheels.
Well, you can say that. You say I'm not mobile. I've been everywhere.
You're gonna. Oh, I'm talking about.
I know.
You're gonna make me look bad, like I'm making fun of you.
That's the point.
Anyway, Gavin is basically going to lead us through this episode and his whole journey over the past 2 weeks. I'm going to shut up now.
Man. No, you're good. So, Scott, I felt like, at the start of Shrek 2, when it shows, like, the prince going to save Fiona, but she's already gone, and she's, like, riding through the storms, riding through the desert, through the mountain. That's what I feel like after these 2 weeks of going for 2 race weekends. So I've talked a little bit about working for Victory Junction. A little bit, I think I have to you. What all have I told you about that so I can kind of know where to start and how much to say?
Well, we talked a little bit about last night. Yeah, viewers, we were supposed to put everything out last night. And again, I'm mobile, so
I'm having some technical issues, but we got it all worked out now, and we
were having some technical
ready to
issues.
go.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it, just about what you're doing for them.
Mm-hmm.
But tell the viewers.
Okay, so everybody, Victory Junction is a organization that's near and dear to my heart. It is a summer camp in Randleman, North Carolina, that serves kids with disabilities ages 6 to 16. From the time I was 9 years old till I was 15 years old, I was a camper there. And everything there is NASCAR themed. If you know the story of Adam Petty, Kyle Petty's son, Adam, was in a racing accident in the year 2000 that took his life. But Kyle, at a super young age and early in his career, did a lot of work for kids with disabilities and was really involved in charity. And Kyle Petty decided in his honor to start the camp Victory Junction. It was their first year serving kids was in 2004. They've just passed their 21st anniversary. They're getting ready to kick off their 21st summer with kids on camp here. I think they're getting ready to start next week. They're going to have campers come in. And so my whole deal with getting a job is I know Kyle and Morgan Petty pretty well, and I called them after I graduated college. I was like, I want to have a job that has a purpose. I want to give back to somebody who's given to me. I don't want to have a job that's just me clocking in and clocking out. And so I'm on a contract with them right now where I am helping them oversee a little bit of their social media presence, their social media presence, and a lot of other things. But right now, what we're really focusing on is they call it their track strategy, like a NASCAR track, and things they're doing within NASCAR to help grow camp. Their drivers that have been their partners are kind of older towards the end of their careers at this point. However, me being kind of the role that I am, especially with the B main, I have been able to help them leverage relationships and build relationships with drivers in trucks, Xfinity, and even in ARCA, and try to help build relationships for the future, as well as, helping promote these younger drivers to an audience that isn't just who they're getting seen by every week on TV.
Yeah. It's really cool.
It's a really, really cool job. And so over the 2 weeks, we had 2 days of work at North Wilkesboro where I spent the first 2 days working on my own. And that's what we're going to get started with is last Thursday at North Wilkesboro. So I did some personal stuff. I posted on my YouTube. I shouted out on our B main social. We got to interview Landon Huffman and Jade Avedizian there at the track. Dude, Thursday, the Cars to a Garage is one of my new favorite places in all of racing. I've been describing it to people as what I imagined the Cup Garage felt like 30 years ago. I mean, it is just such a fun place. Everybody there is just in love with racing, and you can tell that everyone there really has a passion for racing beyond it just being their job.
Well, and I think this was a cool thing that you mentioned
Mhm.
to me because I have yet to get to go to one.
Mm.
Hopefully, maybe I'll get to go to the one at South Boston end of this year if I'm able to get back up there for that. But the thing that I thought was cool was that I heard Dale Jr. talk about this and how he's told so many drivers when they race in the car store, he says this is the most fun you'll ever have in racing. Not saying that as you go up the ladder and continue to grow
Dude, he's
your
not
career,
lying, and I'm not
that,
even the one
well,
racing.
and,
I
well, and
was there
that's
for a couple hours.
yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's so cool because yes, it is a job, and a lot of these people do. Like a lot of the drivers are. This is now their full time thing. They might be working some, doing some other odd job or something, but this is their main deal. A lot of the crew workers, they'll probably have a 9 to 5 gig on the weekdays, but this is their place to come and have fun. Like it isn't a job to them. And so I think it's cool that you mentioned that and said this is what you imagine the Cup Garage was probably like, 35 years ago. And I can bet it probably was.
I mean, just that feeling of it was the
We're
most
just here to go
homey.
racing.
It is the most homey feeling I've ever had at a racetrack. And I've been to dirt late model races, sprint car races, been going to NASCAR races for over a decade, and I immediately felt like I was at home around everyone in the Cars Tour.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an unreal feeling to go into that garage. So a little bit of walkthrough of what all I did Thursday is, we get there. I saw Jade. They were getting ready to push the pros through car inspection. Kind of introduced myself to her, talked to her for just a second, talked to some of her crew guys, and I was like, hey, I'm going to hang out a little bit. I'm just going to try to talk to some people, and I'm going to come back and interview you here in just a little bit. And she's like, all right, that's perfect because, they're pushing the car through tech, getting ready to do probably pre-race competition meetings, her crew chief and her spotter. So it just kind of worked out easy that I got to meet her before I interviewed her and then I had to come back around. So first person I went to talk to, Corey LaJoie, and who was spotting for him this week is Skip Flores, who's also his co-host on Stacking Pennies. We're actually going to talk a little bit about Stacking Pennies later on. Skip and Corey were both really good friends with Joey Logano for all of Joey's career. Joey and Skip still hang out quite a bit. I saw them at Joey's house later on in the week, and then Skip was spotting for Corey and just having a good time in the Cars Tour. So I went over there, talked to them. It was actually one of Corey's first Cars Tour races. I mean,
it was his first.
He's his first Cars Tour race. He's been around the Cup Series, around the Xfinity Series for a long time, and people were kind of giving him a little bit of crap, saying, you were talking, you wanted to only race on Sunday. Now you're on a Cars Tour race. Well, what's the deal? Giving him a hard time. I'm like,
see,
dude,
I didn't even hear that.
It's not the same.
Right,
I saw that.
I was gonna say, bro's just
I
racing
think it's
to have
just
fun.
people. I think it's just people wanting to hate on him.
Oh, 100%.
Because he's one of those drivers that is kind of an abrasive figure in the sport.
Yeah.
Especially to the fan base.
Yeah.
But no, Corey and Skip were great. And went and talked to them, watched them getting ready to work on the car before the race. I mean, this is probably, I guess the pro race started at 7. This was even before pro qualifying. So this is in the heat of the day. Really the only day that it was hot at the racetrack, too, was Thursday. Sun was beating down. And, when you're at a racetrack, the heat is just different.
Yeah,
but Thursday was
the
so
heat
fun.
is different, and I felt that last weekend at South Boston. It was hot when we got to the track. Like it was.
How was y'all's show at Sobo?
Well, we'll get to it. We're on your we're on your timeline. We're on your
timeline. Okay.
So
then I'm
we'll
just
stick with
kind of moving around the Cars Tour garage. I go see Landen Huffman, talk to him. So Coleman Presley, who's been a great friend of mine, spots for Joey Logano. I was telling him, hey, I'm going to the Cars Tour race both days this weekend. I'm interviewing J. David Dizzy, and do you have anybody you think I should go talk to and just introduce myself to? And he was like, hey, he's gotten to be friends with Landen Huffman. They're both from, I think, locally close to the same area. I think Landen's from close to Asheville. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly where, but that area, western North Carolina, And so I go up to Landen, and we talk and hang out for just quite a little bit of time, He's a super, super nice guy. Talked a little bit, got him was asking him questions about YouTube and building his brand, and got a lot of little pointers as far as stuff with the B-Main goes. And he said he was going to share my interview with him, and I think he's going to add our podcast to his community tab on his page. That way, I think when people that, not all his subscribers, but people that are like supporters of his YouTube page, you can be a normal subscriber, like a paid member.
Yeah.
I think people that are members of his page, I think our videos might show up in there For You page.
Shoot.
Like on their homepage, which is great.
Wait, that's awesome. When is he doing that? Has he done it yet?
I think he said he was going to do it next time he uploaded something.
Okay.
I'm going to message him. Super nice guy.
Hey, which also I think we should be having him on hopefully soon.
Dude, speaking of that, he did say he's interested. I think he's going to be on. So his home track is Hickory. That's how him and Coleman know. They both grew up racing at Hickory together. And Cars Tour race at Hickory is a really big race for them this season. And he was like, hey, I can be on your next episode. I'm like, well, when y'all are racing at Hickory pretty soon, that's a big deal for you. And he's like, yeah, it is. He's a former track champion there. So I think when the Cars Tour go to Hickory, I think Landen Huffman might be on the big main with us.
That's what?
I think it's 4th of July.
Okay.
4th of July weekend. So
Okay.
here, end of this month.
Okay.
It's probably 2 episodes from now.
Okay. Hey, and
then
you got to talk to some other cool people.
went to talk to Chase Burrow, former B main guest.
Hey, he was at South Boston this weekend, and I had no idea. But by the time I learned of it, I was up in the booth, and I couldn't go back down. But he was helping out. Who was he helping out? He was helping out one of the Sellers guys. Oh, he was helping out Toby Lane, who was driving a Sellers backup car to Starton Park. But he was there, and I didn't even know, and I was so upset.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Dude, Chase is super, super cool. Super fun guy to
yeah.
talk to. He is super, like, big personality, not on camera. So I was kind of a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, because
he's a lively guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah, and because he was a little bit shyer on
Yeah,
the
but no, he's
podcast.
super awesome, super fun to hang out with. I think I might be able to get him back on at some point whenever that time may be. Went and I talked to the Quapples, met all the Quapples, met Carson, Cade, met their dad Travis. Talked to Carson for quite a bit. Talked a lot about iRacing. Me and him have been in a few hosted races together. He is known on iRacing as the guy who is always putting up the weirdest hosted lobbies.
Hey, me and him got to race in an official one time.
Dude, he's a super cool guy.
Hey, we need to race in that Tuesday league more. Wait, what are they doing tonight?
The yes car? I don't know if he's running that tonight.
We might race tonight.
We'll figure that out. Me and Scott will be on iRacing.
I got my mobile rig going on. Okay,
I'm going to be on iRacing when we're done. I
got to show the viewers this real quick.
Yeah, show your setup.
So
here.
I'm at the beach, and I had to do a race, so I had to do some stuff. So I got the rig part, but I couldn't bring the chair, so I've got a beach chair, and the computer goes up on the table.
Dude, USA, man. I love the chair. USA, man.
Dude,
love the chair.
I got to support always. So, yeah, I got some crazy stuff going on right now, but, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, do what you got to do. But, no, the Quapples are great. Talked to Carson a lot about iRacing. One of the favorite memories we talked about is he threw up a lobby on there that was trucks at Millbridge.
That's awesome.
And I think there were like 25 guys in the race.
Hey, we raced 46 cars at Bristol Dirt.
That was
with
fun,
no damage.
That was so stupid, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
Then, so after I interviewed Landon, talked to Carson, I was just kind of roaming around the garage. Went over to the Lee Pulliam camp, got to meet Lanie Buice and Doug Barnes Jr. Both super, super nice people. Doug has a huge personality.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got a good social media presence.
He comes up, and he's one of those people who is just like, those people that you meet him, they're just so lively and just kind of almost a larger-than-life personality. Kind of was giving him a little bit of a hard time. I said, we shouted you out on our podcast. And he said, does it have anything to do with a watermelon field? And I said, it actually does. It actually does. So funny thing, they named that chassis the Watermelon Killer. Is what he was telling me. They renamed that chassis the Watermelon Killer at the Lee Pulliam shop.
That's funny. Hey, we should try to have him on too.
He said to message him, so he's another target.
Gosh.
We talked to Lanie Buice, one of the nicest people I've ever met. After we talked for a little while, talked to her mom. They're both super nice. She actually went out and qualified second, so close to getting the pole. The last car on the track knocked her off the pole. I mean, I was like, man. But another theme, I don't know, when we talk about this Cars Tour race, I think every driver that I've mentioned talking to had an awful Cars Tour weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see, Landen Huffman.
Hey,
involved in the incident.
That might be a Gavin bad luck.
This has nothing to do with the B main. This is all me.
The B main everyone we've
been generating winners.
Exactly.
We've been generating winners.
So don't even put that. Don't even put that on a.
Not on the B main. This is all 100% my
Gavin.
fault.
Gavin. Well, and hey, viewers, y'all know about Gavin. The minute that he says something on the podcast, some sort of fact, some sort of bad take, it's gonna go the opposite way. Jimmy Johnson,
remember what I said about
finishing P3.
Scott McLaughlin.
Scott McLaughlin.
Dude, I was watching. We'll get to this later. I was watching the Indy 500. And I look up and go, Aw, I picked him.
Bro, I literally turned it on because I was driving down here. I turned it on my phone because I had just finished the Monaco Grand Prix, and I just see Scotty Mac just hands in his head in the grass, and I'm like, did we start? Did he wreck out? Like, I'm so confused, and they're like, Will Buxton comes over and says, and he's out before we even start. I'm like, what? Anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's my fault, guys. I am the official bearer of bad luck,
Gavin.
as proven by this Cars Tour weekend.
Yeah. Well,
no, but back when I interviewed, so after I met everybody, got to talk to Matt Dillner of Flow Racing. I don't think I've ever met anybody that loves racing as much as Matt Dillner.
So cool. I met him at the Snowball Derby. He's so cool.
Have you ever met anyone that loves racing more than Matt Dillner? I don't think I have. I don't think I ever will.
I don't know. I think James is pretty close, but guess what? They both work together at Bowman Gray.
Dude, they're both cool guys. I got to talk to them. James Pike was hyping you up a little bit about your South Boston deal. He was really hyping you up.
Well, he is one of my mentors. He was the one
awesome guy.
Yeah. Well, so I met him through Kenneth Bueno, who I worked at, which that's the Coke 600 announcer, the color commentator. And so I met him through Kenneth. And so then that was probably about in last August. And so he started to help mentor me, and we started talking about more iRacing stuff and helping me start get connected, go more connections. He was like, go to the Snowball Derby. And I would say, I had gone the year before, but he was like, go. And I was like, okay. And he was like, he gave me a connection there. And then from there, everything has just fallen together. Like the people that I met at the Snowball Derby, able to help me get some stuff for last semester. Then Pike was able to help me line up the deal with South Boston. He is amazing, and I can't wait to see what he continues to do because he is really good at what he does.
Yeah, and one of the things Matt Dillner was telling me about, he said that Bowman Gray should be at the top of my bucket list. I was telling him everywhere that's on my bucket list. I've been to every NASCAR right now. I was like, the Indy 500, the Chili Bowl, the Snowball, they're kind of the three at the top of my bucket list right now. And he's like, go to Bowman Gray. Go to Bowman Gray. Go to Bowman Gray.
I'm telling you, we really have to all be at the Snowball Derby in December.
We will.
Because viewers, we have a plan we want to do. If we can get it worked out to where Gavin and me are there, we want to do an on pit road podcast morning of.
If I come, I'm dragging Drew with me too. We'll have the whole squad.
Oh, down. I'm telling you, because I could probably. I
think it's about time we introduced the B-Main family to Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Drew's got some.
He named our podcast.
Awesome opinions. He named our podcast. He's not afraid to have a against the grain opinion either.
Seriously. We need maybe get him on for an episode to have some fun.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, back to one last soundbite from Thursday before we talk about the racing Thursday night. This is a super funny story from an interview with Jade. As we were talking, and one of the questions I said is, in 2023, you and Cannon McIntosh, teammates, but also 1 and 2 in the championship. What's kind of a specific memory you have about kind of what it's like to race against a teammate for a championship? And she had to tell me there was a race. She didn't really tell it. She was like, it was a race somewhere, and they had gotten in the same wreck and kind of were mad at each other. And guess who was Cannon McIntosh's ride all the way back to Mooresville? Jade's parents. So Jade's parents, Jade and Cannon, all rode all the way back to Mooresville from a midget race.
Oh.
She said it was a very silent, very long car ride home. But she just
awful.
said that was a really funny moment. They kind of got over it, and they're still great friends,
Yeah.
We're teammates, still partially teammates whenever Jade does run on dirt. But it was just such a funny story that stuck with me. And I was like, that is hilarious. That's the kind of questions. That's the kind of answers that I love hearing from people.
And that's what we want to have when we bring guests on. That's what we're
it's just
trying
fun
to look for.
Stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
But now that you've kind of heard everybody, I've got to talk. Oh, and lastly, I got to see Connor Zilic just for a split second on pit road. I've met him at, I guess, 2 races before, just kind of, hey, how you doing? Very normal, casual talk. Not any I'm not going to go out and say we're friends, but, we've met enough times now that I would say that we know each other, but we're not friends,
Yeah.
But he saw me on pit road. He came up, kind of dapped each other up and went on with our way.
Bro,
great guy. I love Connor Zilic.
I need us to
Connor
be at a race.
Zilic is one of the most
us to be
awesome
at a race
guys
together because I need to know all these people.
Dude, everybody, it's so fun.
Well, dude,
So
I'm gonna
after,
meet a lot of people when we have the 200 coming up here in June at South Boston. We're gonna have
yeah, 'cause
pretty
that's,
much the whole car store field there.
dude, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, because
Let me know when that
it's
is.
the first of the Virginia Triple Crown races. It's June 28th.
June 20th. Okay.
Hey,
If
if you're
I
listening, race fans, and you're come out June 28th,
watch it on Flow,
watch it on Flow.
I might make. I will look into that. I
Okay.
will look into being there.
Hey, because if you came, we could do a something on Friday for an episode or so. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we could do like an abridged live episode. Set up a camera, bring a tripod, just throw up a camera and just start talking.
Yep.
Or one thing I want to do at a race we go to, instead of a normal episode, do like a 30 or 40-minute pit walk, grid walk, where we just have
Dude.
somebody follow us with a camera and we just goof around for an hour.
Yeah, dude, that would be.
And just ask like the most outrageous questions, just goofy questions.
No, that would be excellent. We got to me and Kyle, my partner in
Mhm.
South Boston. We got to do that when we had a rain delay one time. It's so
Mhm.
much fun. Just a funny. It's so much fun. Yeah, we'll
I
look
loved
into
last
that
year.
too.
The Chili Bowl pit walks were so good.
Dude.
I loved those.
We'll have to look into it.
And then so Thursday night, we finally got into some actual racing. And dude, Cars Tour, Pro Late Models for my first Cars Tour race, Pro Late Model race, 75 lapper, a little bit of wreck fest at the start, but they got it worked out and went on. It was a pretty uneventful race after Lopez missed the shift, killed basically the entire field. Jade Avidizian, P1 in practice. I thought she was
Dude.
going to do great. 16th in qualifying and just got in the crap.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you're in the middle of the pack of a pro late model field on a big track is you get caught up in the mess of everybody.
Yeah.
She had a great car. I think she just bobbled on a qualifying lap. I'm not really sure. I wasn't in a good spot to watch qualifying. I was just kind of watching the pylon and watching the cars leave pit road.
Yeah.
But no, I think she would have had a fast car, but things happen. And no, but really the main thing, other than Caden Honeycutt just absolutely blistering the field, starting first, finishing first, leading every lap.
Yeah.
Keelan Harvick held off Josh Berry
Dude.
for the entire.
Impressive.
That was so impressive to me. That to me, I mean, I know Keelan's still early on in his early career. To me, a third place finish where you held off Josh Berry for so long, that might be his highlight of his career right now.
Oh, yeah.
Is keeping Josh Berry and Tristan McKee behind him for 50 laps?
Yeah. Well, and I think
he kept Tristan McKee and Josh Berry behind him for 50 laps. Like, that is, you don't have to win a race for that to be impressive.
right.
Like, everything considered, you take a step back and say, Keelan's 12 years old. This is his first full-time season in a pro late model. Only like his fourth pro race ever. And he's got a cup winner. And then Tristan McKee, who we've talked about, is probably the most talented pro late model driver in the country right now as far as raw talent.
Yeah.
And Keelan just said, you shall not pass.
It was crazy. I think there were a lot of circumstances for him to get that where he was, but he qualified up there. He started up there. He deserved to be in that position. I'm not trying
he's
to,
in,
to
he's in a great
discount.
car.
I was going to say he's in a good car. He's in the
so are
Rackley
Josh
War
Berry
car.
and but Josh Berry and Tristan McKee are in a great car.
Exactly.
Josh Berry is in a great car. Tristan McKee is in a car that's a Spire car. I mean, his car's not directly, but I mean, he's affiliated with a Cup team.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm not going to say that Tristan McKee's car might be even better than Keelan's on a week-to-week basis.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Dawson Sutton got P2. Another just solid, uneventful, impressive run from him. He's doing a lot better this year, just keeping his nose clean, finishing races. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He's doing great.
Oh yeah. And that's what you got to do.
That's really all that there was to the pro late model race. It was the Caden Honeycutt show.
It was. And look,
Caden goes out, kills him.
Honeycutt has been. I think he's been so close in the Truck Series, but I think
he's got some wins.
I think he needs to win to have more people notice him, because I don't think enough people have noticed him yet. Like, yes, they're like, oh,
they're
2024. Well, they're starting to. But I think he still needs to get a win for people to say, okay, is this a guy that we want to take a step up? Like for Xfinity teams to maybe look at him and say, is this a driver that we might want? I'm
going to shout out to Al Neese for not being afraid to go out and find true racers.
Yes.
Like,
well, and
he's going so against.
Neese is
he's going so against the grain.
And I love it. because like he did it with Timothy, and Timothy, they didn't have the money. Luckily, they've been able to find the money, Honeycutt and his family and all of that. But I do love that, and I wish
I mean, Hocevar and Chastain too.
100%. Like I hope that we have maybe more teams that might do that, because I would say anyone that comes up into the Nice camp, for the most part, almost all of them that have been there, either graduated or just been where they're at. A lot of them have just been from backgrounds of just they raced, and it wasn't because of money or anything else like that. Because again,
and Natalie Decker,
right,
and Natalie Decker.
But
hey, she kept that team in business. Say what you want, she kept them in business.
That's right, and that's the thing. You need money to go racing these days. But when me and Gavin talk about stuff like that, it's that a lot of times. Well, I say a lot of times. In some occasions, more often than not, you can't buy success. But you'll find that there are a good amount of drivers that are able to use the money to subsequent for some talent, because there are definitely a lot of talented drivers that aren't getting opportunities because they just don't have those funds. We're not hating on anybody like that, but we're just going to be honest. That is a thing in today's racing. But shout out to Nice and Alan Nice and everyone that they do, because I think they have done really well in finding just pure talent.
I mean, Hocevar and Chastain, what's a better example than those two?
Exactly. Coke 600 winner from just 2 nights ago. And, of course, Hocevar, winner in the trucks. I know. And he was competing. We're going to get so good.
So much to talk about. But let's get back to North Wilkesboro. Late model stock race. Very next night. So Friday was probably my least eventful day of the first weekend. I got introduced to my people that I'm working with for Victory Junction in person finally. Introduced to my boss, my videographer, and our photographer, all three. Great people. Love them. Just quick shout out to all of them.
Bro got a Rev Development shout out.
I did get a Rev Development shout out.
Awesome.
That was great. Shout out to their head of PR, Christy Gormel. I've met her a few times at races. She's amazing. Amazing at her job. Does so well with those Drive for Diversity drivers. Such an awesome program. And after talking to all of them and all the drivers that have, alumni of that program, like Raja, everybody that I've talked to that came from that camp, she does an amazing job helping them, training them, getting them prepared for the rest of their career.
Yeah. No, it's
so
really
I just want to give her a shout out.
I wish they would have selected me.
Awesome.
I've got financial problems. I submitted a video. I did last year. It's on my YouTube.
Can we link that to this video? Can that be the linked video at the end?
We could.
I want to see this.
Yeah, I will.
We gotta, fans. We're gonna have this. We're gonna have Scott's
my
Rev
my 2024 Rev application.
That we gotta have that in here.
It's on my YouTube.
But we go into the late model stock race, lap 1. Oh, I felt
lap
so
3.
bad watching this ride. Lap 3, sorry. Lap 3. I felt awful watching this.
I was
My
so
heart
upset.
sank.
I was upset for both of them, just because
it's the second time that the two of them have had the same exact outcome in a wreck.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna say it's equally on both of them both times.
I was gonna say,
because it is a very. I'm trying to say this in correct way.
It was very easy for a lot of people to assume that Lanie shipped it in there, because that's the immediate thing that you think. And of course,
the driver on the bottom is usually at fault,
right?
In that situation,
you go back and analyze. Yes,
Lanie
moved was
down first,
but that was because at first Bollmans started to come down, so they were just headed right for each other.
He missed the corner low. She missed it high. They met in the middle. Unfortunately, took out, as I have in my notes, a butt ton of race cars.
Yeah, it really did.
And
who else? What affected? Did Quapple get in that, or was it in the next one? No, Quapple was in the next one.
Quapple was in the next one.
Which frustrated me too.
Which Quapple?
Carson.
I think Carson got a little bit of damage from it, but not much.
Caden blew up later.
Caden blew up later. Landen Huffman was in it. Chase Burrow was in it.
Landen Huffman recovered. P6.
Dude, what a run.
I'm telling you, him and his team have found it this year.
Burrow,
sitting 4th in the late model stock standings right now.
Dude, he is on a tear. In the way that the top drivers are being so inconsistent, he might have something to say for the championship the further we get into the season.
We have a new championship leader for the first time all season. Landen Lewis overtakes Connor Hall.
Landen Lewis is on fire. He won
Dude,
that race, which was great.
He won
He
that
led
race.
every lap as well.
He also hopped in a truck the next day to practice for somebody. I don't remember who.
I didn't even realize that. I was at the truck race. I didn't even realize that.
Who it was, but I saw a media post about it that he was
nice.
practicing someone's truck.
Nice.
So,
but another shout out I'm going to give Tristan McKee, P2. That dude's so fast for him to be so young. I don't know if you've noticed watching our show or listening, being on here with me. I am super high on Tristan McKee.
Oh, 100%. Have you gotten to talk to him?
I have not. I saw him.
I really wonder about his personality.
It was like I said hey in passing. I saw him both days at the racetrack, just kind of, passing a nod, hey, hello, how you doing? Just keep going.
Because the only time I've ever seen him was at the Rattler, and it was at the drivers' meeting. And he came over to the drivers' meeting, was just there, left. And so I think he's I want to say he's one of those shy younger guys. And I would probably
he's a kid.
And exactly, because we got a guy at South Boston, Lane Woods. He is 14 years old. And the first time I ever interviewed him, he was like but the more I've gotten to talk to him as an announcer in like pre-race and stuff, he's gotten more comfortable. But so I wonder about McKee.
That's what you got to do.
Exactly. And he's like, every time I interview him now, like he knows me. So it's cool.
Yeah.
But so, McKee's in a place where he's getting interviewed by a ton of different people because he's running a ton of different series. So anyway, I just wonder about his personality, just because I think he's one that we're going to continue seeing.
Yeah, he's going to stick around. And one quick little note I want to make about the Cars Tour race. I got to watch that race with two Cup spotters, TJ Majors and Coleman Presley. Got to watch it with both of them. Dude,
Bro.
Getting to watch races with, like, literally, I mean, I'm going to be honest, the two best spotters in the Cup Series, like, no matter who you ask. Like, we can agree, they're probably the two best spotters in NASCAR.
They're amazing.
Like, getting to watch a race with them and just watch the things, listen to the things they say.
Did you know that Christopher Bell's spotter quit after the All-Star race?
Quit? Or what's the deal there?
He quit.
Oh, okay. I saw that they split ways. I didn't know what happened.
I think he just quit. That's what I heard.
That is, wow, that's interesting.
I don't know.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth, but we need to keep an eye on that.
I was just thinking about it because we were talking about spotters.
Cars Tour, such an amazing event to go to and to see.
I just love North Wilkesboro as well. Like I like the track.
You have
itself.
To go.
I want to go. Also,
you don't even have to go.
I want to race there someday.
Just go to the track.
I want to race there someday. It's got good character. It really does. Especially, dude, we got the repave 2-3 years ago, but the track has continued to get better as they do, and I think it's coming into a really good portion. And I think we really saw that over the weekend.
Getting to watch it from the stands, the Cars Tour races from the stands, and the NASCAR races from the pits. And then the layout of the garage is super easy to get around. Like, it's just one big open bowl. It is a baby Iowa.
Yeah.
It's turning into a baby Iowa.
It's a baby Iowa, but it has a little bit more character in terms of the bumps and the two different corners. I would say Iowa.
It's like an Iowa Richmond. It's a lot like Iowa and Richmond both, but it's not D-shaped. It's an oval.
Yeah.
It's a true oval. It's not D-shaped like Iowa or
love
Richmond.
The way that
but
track
the way
races. And again,
the way it races reminds me. The way it races, the way the show is, and then which it races nothing like it does on iRacing after the repave. Like no, everybody said they were going to some of them.
The line.
Some people I talked to. They said they used Richmond to practice on iRacing more than they used old North Wilkesboro.
That's crazy. I'm surprised they haven't rescanned it. Now, I hope if
I think that's in the works.
I hope if they rescan it, they don't get rid of the old one.
I don't think they will. I think it'll be a legacy.
Okay.
Or not even a legacy. Like it'll be because they're so different. Yeah. It's not like I think it'll be like Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a legacy track that's still used.
Yeah. But I thought that the Cars Tour race was really good. Landen Lewis went out and dominated. I mean, he
made a statement.
He did.
You got to watch it on TV. I was there at the track. How was Fox's production?
Dude, Fox did pretty darn good. I think we've talked about that Fox has definitely had struggles on the Cup side. I think as someone who is looking at this is not me, because again, that they could be a future employer. I have no idea because Fox is excellent. They are the best of the best. They've been doing this for 20-odd years, especially at the Cup level. Like, there is no doubt that they are one of the best. And so what they brought to the Cars Tour, I thought was excellent. I thought it was really good for how they did it with a different series. Because I think it
reminded me, or from what I heard, people said it's more akin to their IndyCar than their NASCAR coverage in the tone and the presentation.
I would say it might have been a mix, but I just think I was really surprised by how they adapted to the short track style. And that when they did this deal, people were doing their research. They didn't just, hey, we're going to do this like we do our Cup races and just whatever. Like, they really studied up on how to do this good as a short track broadcast, because short track broadcasting,
well, I mean, look at who was in the
versus
booth.
NASCAR broadcast is very different, and the booth was excellent. Oh my gosh, Eric, I will ride Eric all day long because he ride his smoke trail because he is so good. He's so
great.
Darn good at what he does. I love getting to talk with him because he has given me so many good tips. And I think he was one of the key guys that probably helped this Fox deal come along because he's been getting to do stuff with them, and he's been great. I mean, he has been great. Fox has been great with him, and obviously you can't go wrong with Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick.
I mean, it was – I don't think – I mean, literally the three people that are – that is the Cars Tour, is those three people.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's the head announcer, the two owners. Like, that is – you couldn't have picked a better group to broadcast that race.
You couldn't. And then of course, you had Blake down on pit road, and that was great. And then you have Caitlin Vincey, who, James Pike got to talk to me about the whole deal with him, they not getting to do it and all that, but he got to be right alongside Caitlin Vincey, and it was so cool because he got to talk to me.
And he was doing her notes. I think he was down there.
When he told me that, and he posted this on social media, that she really taught him a new way to do certain things. So I think they really worked real well together in getting her adapted to the Cars Tour, but also helping James learn some new stuff with what Caitlin's done with PRN and what she's done with NASCAR Fox. So I think that was a really cool deal for them two just getting to learn each other's style. And I think that's going to help Caitlin continue to do stuff with Fox and what she's continuing to do with NASCAR. And it's going to help James, the more he does Cars Tour, to maybe make new approaches and continue to improve, because he is one of the best pit road reporters. There's a reason that he is always with the Cars Tour down there, and there's a reason that he was still there in terms of everything, because James is one of the best, especially at gathering information.
I mean, it was really awesome. And another quick shout out I'm going to give. So, Regan Smith and his note getter on pit road is Heather DeBow, who also has done some reporting for Fox before, a lot on the ARCA and a lot on the truck side. Two of them, I've known Heather for a long time, back before she was even working for Fox, when she was working for Speed Channel. And then I got to meet Regan through her, both of them, to tell them a little bit about the B main. So Regan Smith and Heather DeBow have both seen the B main now.
Hey, yo.
You with me?
Regan Smith?
Yeah, hey, yo. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
no
nice.
way.
Yeah.
When did they watch? Wait, what?
I think they watched it this week because I sent it to them after the North Wilkesboro race.
Did they say anything?
They watched our last episode. Heather said it was great. She gave me a few notes. I'll share with you later.
Okay.
But yeah, they were saying very good things, which I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much. But I'm going to pat you on the back. You can pat me on the back. It'll be mutual. But let's go to Saturday for this weekend. This is my first day getting to work for Victory Junction.
Yep.
And so we were going to do a lot of promotional content with drivers, just trying to build new relationships was this week's end goal. First interview, bright and early in the morning. I had to be inside the racetrack to interview Rajah Caruth at 8 a.m.
Hey, you got to be
hour
early
and a
on race
half.
day. Got to be early on race day.
That's what we talked about when you were talking about it at the Rattler. Getting up, you and Timothy both hate mornings. I hate mornings.
Dude,
race days are great mornings.
Me and Timothy, dude, I have never found it easier to get out of the bed when it's race day.
Dude, I know. Getting up at 6 a.m. and I'm like, let's go.
It's race day. Literally,
That's how I felt on Saturday.
Every day I wake up at Sobo, I'm like, it's race day, baby. Every time.
So we got to the track. It was raining. drizzling, still cool because it's the morning, so 50-something degrees rain. I'm like, I hope this is not all day race day. But great day. Interviewed Roger for my first interview for Victory Junction. I had to go about it with a little bit different of a tone that I do my own personal interviews, So with camp, I kind of had to make it relate back around to camp. And one of the questions, I'm going to ask you this question. I just want to see what you think, because this is a question about
You want
camp
me to
I
answer?
asked a lot of the drivers. Yeah, I want you to answer.
Okay.
And this is one of the questions, not the only one. I asked him a couple career questions, and then these were one of the camp questions. I said, if you could design any camp activity for kids to do that isn't a race, but it's based around racing, what would it be?
Ooh. Oh,
But that was one of the questions I was asking.
I wonder.
And I got some really cool answers.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like I have to think about that's a tough on the spot question.
But it's a fun question.
It relates to racing somehow.
But it isn't a race.
Huh. Maybe they use some sort of items to race something in I don't know.
So I liked getting that, because it kind of it obviously showcased what camp was about, and then it showcased the drivers as well.
The first thing I think about is like
thing.
a three-legged race.
Yeah, but it's not a race. Don't do a race. So
okay, but you said it has to relate to racing.
Here's what you want me to tell you. What I remember what Rajah's was, and he said, I think we should have some scale size race cars and just kind of teach them about the mechanics side of race cars, other than hey, this is a tire, this is a car, this is the engine, but kind of teach kids in depth about the race cars. And cool. Another cool answer I got from this was the next day I interviewed Austin Cindric. He said, I think you should do a design competition and everybody build just the craziest Hot Wheels tracks as possible. And I was like, dude, that's an awesome idea. Yeah, and I was like, that would just so cool to listen to some of the interesting things. You really got to pick their mind, but it was still related to my work and related to camp. So those were some of the fun questions I got. But yeah, after that, I just started going around making connections for the future for camp in the truck garage. I know I mentioned a lot of younger drivers, but the first person I went and talked to was Frankie Muniz.
Nice.
Everybody loves Frankie Muniz. He's awesome.
Literally.
Such a nice guy. Talked to him. Talked to Tanner Gray, who's another nice guy. I love Tanner.
Yeah.
He has really picked up a lot on speed this year. I'm kind of proud of him, Coleman Presley's, Joey Spotter, spots for Tanner in the Truck Series. And it's been an uphill fight for his Truck Series career so far.
Yeah.
The speed hasn't been there every race. His teammates with Cory Heim.
It's hard when your brother is up in the Xfinity Series and running pretty well with
doing
Joe
great.
Gibbs.
And then all of your teammates, except for maybe one, are
running well,
outperforming you.
Yeah.
And he's not doing bad, but this year he's shown a couple of top fives. He's had top 10 speed every week as opposed to, 15th to 20th place speed. And that's kind of, I talked about that to him, and just the confidence boost. And he's really enjoying his confidence boost this year. And then it was Brent Cruz's truck debut. I got to talk to him. He was with Luke Baldwin. Talked to both of them for just a few seconds. Super nice guys.
I was going to say,
awesome.
I think they are both really cool.
Dude, Brent Cruz is another one of those drivers.
Personality. Brent Cruz is good too.
Those are two guys that I'm these guys are kind of the future of the sport.
Yeah.
They're two guys that you look at, and I know that they're super young into their career, but just they have that. I'm gonna be cheesy and use the word aura. They have cup aura. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
You get what I'm saying. When you meet somebody and you're they're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Now that I say that.
I think a lot of guys, when I look at that, if we're specifically talking about the Truck Series, obviously Heim.
Cory Heim.
The first person you
Caden
think about,
Honeycutt's getting there.
Caden Honeycutt is one that I think if things work out, I think
if things line up,
I was gonna say I think he's one of the
I think Lane Riggs,
guys,
honestly.
I think next year we'll see. What is it? I need to collect my thoughts here. Luke Baldwin.
Once Heim moves up, I think Gio Ruggiero is going to take a huge step.
Oh, 100%. I think he's already taken a huge step. He ran
step, but he's going to take an even bigger one.
Well, he ran really great at North Wilkesboro, won his first stage ever, then ran really great at Charlotte. Here's the thing. I think Luke Baldwin, he's in the modified tour this year. He's third in points right now, or he's fourth in points. Austin Buice is in third. Shout out Buice.
Hey, I got to meet him the next day. I met him Sunday.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to the track as they were doing the pre-race prayer. It was the last second they had the track gate open, In North Wilkesboro, there's not an infield tunnel. You got to go across the crossover gate on the back stretch. It's so old school. Kind of love it. But so he was standing outside the car. I just went up, introduced myself, and just talked for just a short split second. Super nice dude. Had a really good run, too.
Yeah.
Led some laps.
No, he did. So anyway,
that race was a crap show, by the way.
I didn't even get to watch it yet.
Well, there were like
highlights.
Don't. I think their longest green flag run was 12 laps. If you've ever ran a C-Class fixed race on iRacing, that's what
I have.
That is what the modified race was like.
Oh.
You're not missing anything. It was just a crap race, honestly. Beers had a solid run, but I don't even want to talk about that race.
But
and
so
the truck
anyway,
race.
Well, trucks.
I'm V-Rigs.
Wait. I want to talk about.
All right.
Oh, you mulled over my point.
All right.
It's the guys I think we're gonna see continue to move up in the sport. Heim, obviously, he's our number one. Then, of course, I think we would go. I would say probably Luke Baldwin, Brent Cruz are two of those guys that are. I'd say if we get them full time in the truck, for sure.
I think they'll graduate.
I think Honeycutt is one of those that I think, again, if a money deal works out, if the stars align, but I think he definitely has the talent to do so.
Lane Riggs being a second-generation driver helps him.
Lane
and
Riggs,
he's taken a huge step at the end of last year and this year.
And the thing is, he has to close a deal, though, because now, to your point, what we've seen, I think, 2 times this season, Lane Riggs he whiffed. And
he went full send and whiffed.
Way too over-aggressive.
He went full send. He whiffed. Took out the 2 best cars in the field.
Yep.
And
he's
getting better about it.
Chandler Smith taking his opportunity yet again. I'm telling you, Chandler Smith should be racing in the Xfinity Series driver. Still. Like
he's a great driver.
He is one of those that he deserves to be in the Xfinity Series. Like he literally barely missed the championship 4 in the Xfinity Series and got demoted to trucks. Like he had 2 wins that year or 3.
He's got something to prove, and he can do it.
100%, and I hope he does. I like Chandler Smith.
That's the thing, is you look at a prospect, and you have to think of money. You have to think of personality. You have to think of all the little minute details. But if NASCAR started,
Chandler Smith reminds me of Chastain.
If NASCAR Cup teams had a draft, this is what me and Matt Dillon were talking about, the difference between a prospect and the best young drivers.
Yeah.
If the Cup Series, or not even the Cup Series, if NASCAR, every organization, the Xfinity and truck slates were wiped completely clean, and you had all of their active drivers, every driver from every other discipline in every Xfinity and truck organization was getting drafted, who would you pick first?
Like what team?
Yeah, what driver?
To race in the Xfinity or truck to race in Cup?
To race in, let's say Xfinity right now.
Okay.
So no Cup driver, every Cup, every Xfinity, every truck driver is available, every late model driver, every super driver, every dirt driver. This is what me and Matt Dillner were talking about, and the point you're making kind of reminded me of it.
Yeah.
You're on the clock.
I was going to say, if
you have everybody. You have hundreds of options.
If we're talking Xfinity,
you have hundreds of options, and you probably have about 20 that are the right pick.
Oh, gosh. I would say Chandler Smith is the one I'm going to say first for me.
Hey, I'm probably going to take Connor Zilic.
Okay. I'm going to take Carson Quapple.
Okay, you go. Okay. Oh, now we're getting interesting because it's like you take the low-hanging, obvious fruit.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Nick Sanchez.
I was going to say, I think there's more low-hanging, obvious
fruit.
Yeah,
and then
I should have pulled up a freaking
Cory Heim.
You
didn't pick Heim.
Well, hold on. It's not your pick. It's my pick, Cory Heim.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You didn't pick Cory Heim.
All right, your pick.
I see. Okay. I think we're going on our 3rd pick now, and I'm going to go outside of NASCAR. I'm going to go Buddy Kofoid, and then I think that's going to be good for NASCAR for this little tangent thought that I just thought of. Because, I mean, you get to think, you sit down and you're like, whoa.
Seriously.
This is a wild thing to pick.
Yeah.
But the point I was making is after I was making Austin Beers, we talked about how he is one of those drivers, and to our point that we made last episode, how impressive he is.
Yeah. Well,
and I was talking to Matt Dillner about this.
He just got the win with his other team in the 179 just this past week.
And me and Matt Dillner were sitting back talking. That 64 team in the NASCAR Modified Tour was not a top team until 2 years ago when he got in that car.
They've been around for a long time because I didn't even realize this. So one of the guys I work with at Sobo, he's one of our track crews, but he works with NASCAR. Like he does, he's a third party with NASCAR as a safety crew, and he works at Darlington, New Hampshire. New Hampshire he's worked there for 30 years, but he works at a lot of these tracks around that area. He's from New Jersey originally, but so he works at New Hampshire, and he was there. I think it was 2014, 2015, when there was the huge modified crash where a car like went up into the fence, and it was like really bad. And he showed me the photos. I don't know if you know this,
And
but
the 64 car was there.
it was the 64 car.
Oh.
It was in the fence. Yes. And because it's the same font. And I'm like, well, I know the driver who's on that team now, but I was like, whoa. But I go to your point, they have not been up the top of the running order since.
And now they are.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the conversation that me and Matt Dillner were saying, because I was talking about, I kind of personally like to keep a list of prospects. And it's like, I don't look at it like that. I look at it, close your eyes, imagine it's draft day. Who are you picking? And I was like, that's another good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So we kind of look at that in two different perspectives.
Yeah.
And it was kind of made me want to think of you there. But what do you think about the All-Star race?
Yeah. Okay, so you and me are gonna have to try to be as unbiased as possible. Obviously, I was really happy with Joey.
I can be unbiased.
Well, okay.
I was giving Joey a hard time about it.
I know. Which is freaking
I was messing
funny,
with him.
Which is freaking funny. Which I want you to tell that story in a minute. Yeah, I loved it. I think the track was as best as it's been. I think we saw a lot of good passing. We got a lot of good passes for the lead. You were able to defend as a leader. We saw that late into the race with Joey. I think we saw a lot of different tire strategy, even though 4 was normally
They
the
took
call.
off the rear diffuser. Did you notice that? They took the rear
did?
diffuser off. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't even notice that.
Well,
during
that
qualifying.
makes some sense as to why that
And
some
I
of
was
it
watching,
better.
and like at the start of the race, they showed like little Fox graphics, and Larry McReynolds was talking about removing the rear diffuser.
I didn't even
the
hear
rule
them.
change.
I didn't even hear them
And then
say that.
When they were driving by, I noticed. I was like, these cars don't have a rear diffuser.
Well, and guess what? That
It made
I
it
think,
better.
I think that factor.
you could
you
park
gotta
yourself beside the leader, and you could race side by side
which
for
we
multiple
saw,
laps.
and I loved it. I loved it. It was awesome. It was great.
I like it when it's hard to pass, but it's not impossible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be hard to pass the leader. That's why he's the leader, but it shouldn't be. You should be able to get beside him
and guess what?
maintain
and you're
your
gonna
line.
have to get a little physical. We saw that. Joey, he was blocking for his life, but Bell had to go. It was time, and he moved him.
Time.
And I would say it was a very light move. And I think Joey was a little bit more frustrated at the promoter's caution and kind of took it out on Bell. Because, he went back on SiriusXM and was like, I looked back at it and it was not crazy. I wish he hadn't have said it because so many people were like, oh my gosh, that's so hypocritical. He wipes out people all the time, which he doesn't. He does move people, though, but that's part of racing. But I think just him saying that opened the door for people to say, of course, this is such a Joey Logano thing to say. And I'm like, okay.
No, I mean, but you also got to think, what's the difference between first place and second place in the All-Star race? The money difference.
Oh,
Not
it's
just for each of his crew.
$900,000.
And I mean, grouped up for, let's say, 6 over-the-wall guys and 8 mechanics.
Yeah.
It's 12 guys. I mean, you're not just losing money you're losing money for your crew chief, your spotter, every crew member. I mean,
and I would say there was nothing.
You got to have a little bit of guilt.
I would
that
say there was
that
nothing
happened.
else that Joey could have done.
No, I mean there wasn't. I mean you have to think.
And I think
if you're in that
I don't
situation,
understand why they didn't pit.
Because if he would have pitted, no one else would have.
Maybe. I don't know.
And then that tire difference, you're not gonna. I mean, he had the dominant car all race. He was by far the best car.
100%.
And whatever the leader is going to do, everyone's going to do the opposite.
I know.
And so the fact that
it was a
if
really
he would have
bad
pitted,
situation.
And I think that's why he was mad about the promoter's caution.
Exactly. Because there's
And I
there's
talked to
no
him afterwards.
there's no caution. He's another $1 million.
And I was talking to him afterwards, and like, some people liked it, some people didn't. I'm not.
My problem.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the presentation, the fireworks show.
Okay.
Michael Waltrip dropping the flag, counting down how many laps till the caution to all the fans. Like, hit the button.
Yeah, I don't.
Hit the button. The lights come on. Yellow's
Also,
out.
I
Okay,
thought it was
rack 'em up
supposed to
and
be a
re-go.
surprise. But, bro, literally, we had a camera of him on TV telling us what lap it
Counting
would
down
be.
10 laps, 9 laps, 8 laps. Like, no.
But also,
Don't make a big deal out of it.
my biggest problem with it was that they said it's the promoter's caution. It can be thrown blah, blah, blah within these laps. There was no more explanation. Who was choosing to throw this caution? Like that there was no who's paying to throw this caution? Like is it
I mean,
NASCAR? Because I'm
the
like
race
well,
director
and that's
was the one in charge.
I'm sorry, that's terrible.
Yeah, the NASCAR race
I'm
director,
sorry,
Marcus
NASCAR
Marcus
should
Smith's
if
NASCAR race
they're going to do
director.
something like that, NASCAR should have no hand in it because that's
Let the
kind of race manipulation.
they should. Yeah, but it's the All Star
I
race.
know, but I'm just saying in
Oh
terms
yeah, no, yeah,
you
I
made a
get what
point
you're
you
saying.
made a point earlier that sometimes what NASCAR does in the All-Star race they transition to the regular season at some point.
And I don't want to see that in the regular season.
Exactly, and that's what I'm
I
saying.
think they could have had some celebrity, not even a NASCAR, a
That's what I
random
thought it was.
celebrity,
That's
and
what
just stick
I
them on
thought
the
it was going
flag
to
stand
be.
and be like, all right, you're going to be up here from lap 175 to lap 220. Throw the flag whenever you think the racing gets boring. And then it turned into the Kyle Larson hit the wall caution.
Right. And so that's what I thought it was going to be. But what it looked like was that, and what you said, it was a NASCAR caution. And I'm like,
Which is fine. I mean, it's fine for the All-Star race, but
eh,
we
it's
don't need to go
still,
down this rabbit hole.
yeah,
NASCAR doesn't need to go out this rabbit hole.
yeah, no. I
That
think
was my first weekend. That was weekend number 1.
that was weekend one. Let's.
So,
I think there was nothing much. I guess we roll on to weekend two.
well, we can talk about Monday.
What was
I have to
Monday?
do a little fun field trip Monday to the joy of seating.
Oh,
You got to go listen to some Stacking Pennies.
oh yes.
Dude, that was such a fun time. Like I was talking about Skip and Corey earlier. You got to go hang out, listen to Stacking Pennies, see kind of the difference between their format and our format. What's funny, shows actually, we have a very similar format, very similar length to the show. So they started out, they interviewed Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is a NFL quarterback, retired, but he's an Amazon reporter for the NFL. And
Huh.
I think because Corey was doing some stuff with Amazon for NASCAR, is they had that partnership on to promote Amazon.
Yeah, 100%.
So they brought Ryan in, listened to that interview, and then they talked about all of the short track stuff, and then they got into the NASCAR stuff at the end. It was just kind of cool to see like the route they went through it. It's like, okay, we have very similar setups. Two of them talking. Obviously, they're side by side. They have a 2-camera setup. They have 3 producers, and they have somebody there from NASCAR.com. Kind of, I think, not really facilitating, but keeping some notes, kind of writing in because they air on NASCAR's YouTube, and so she's there facilitating for NASCAR. So it was such a cool thing just to listen to. Got us a little shout out towards the end of the show, which was awesome.
Dude, that's so cool. I haven't gotten to see it yet, but I want to find the clip because I think that's so cool.
I want to find the clip, and I'm going to try to get them to post it. I'm about to go post all my pictures from this trip here pretty soon. Tuesday, Joey Logano had his charity concert for the Joey Logano Foundation at Coyote Joe's in Charlotte. It's a big, huge bar. It's insanely packed in there. Jordan Davis, country singer, sang. Had another guy who was an opening act. Forgot his name. I remember they said he was a runner-up on The Voice a few years ago. Super fun concert. Wednesday, got to go do some more work for Victory Junction. We did some outreach at Levine Children's Hospital. There in Charlotte, they kind of do some things where they bring camp activities to the hospital, some stuff that's indoor friendly, and just kind of bring a little bit of happiness to those kids in the children's hospital. It was very fun, but it was heavy. It was a heavy experience, but it was fun. Kind of as somebody who lives with a disability, but I'm not in the hospital in and out very often, so it's a very, even as somebody as myself, it's both relatable and humbling at the same time.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, I hope for us, like, one of my big hopes, not only for us to grow, like, we've talked about some of our big goals that we won't share with you quite yet, viewers, but, one of our goals that I do want to share.
Keep you waiting.
Well, we'll keep you waiting. But one is to be able to do that, to be able to raise money for causes like that, because there's just a huge effect on young kids' lives. Like, I think especially young kids.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing for me is like, yeah, this job is fun on the weekends, and I'm going to races and talking to NASCAR drivers. And then, like, Wednesday was the day I kind of, like, take a step back, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is why I'm doing it. And, like, remembering, like, when I would go to camp, when I was a camper, and all that, I was like, yeah, this kind of reminds you of your purpose, which was a super, really cool experience. And then I was going to try to go to Millbridge. They had a big outlaw kart race there that Wednesday night.
Which I
ended
think
up not having time.
Quapple ran in.
Yeah, Caden Quapple and Carson Quapple. Caden Quapple ran. Let's see, I think Carson Elledge, who is Dale Jr.'s niece, she ran. Chase Cabry ran. and some other just outlaw kart names from around North Carolina. I was looking at the entry list. There were 2 guys that are local to me that were running. Like 2 guys, one from Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is right up the road, and one from Wynne, Arkansas, which is right up the road from me.
Wait,
And I was
that's
like,
so cool.
what? I was like, I really should go, but I just ran out of time. So instead, I went to Texas Roadhouse. Instead of going to Millbridge, I went to Texas Roadhouse.
Oh my gosh, bro!
Had me some catfish. That was
Bro
great.
didn't race with us that night on hyper shift. Bro didn't. What else did you not do? Bro didn't go to ASA or Millbridge. Bro went to Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, this was Wednesday, not Thursday.
Never
Thursday,
mind.
I had to work at camp, and I didn't get off until 5. And the race at Hickory started at 7, and it's about a 2.5-hour drive, so I wasn't going to get there till after green flag anyway. But Thursday, working at camp, creative meetings all morning, went and got lunch, and then we had having a T-shirt reveal for our theme T-shirt for all the weeks of camp this summer, and we kind of did like a parody of Mission Impossible as our little T-shirt reveal video. We got that recorded, and they're editing it this week. I think it's going to go up later this week, and I'll share it on the B-Main stuff. I'll repost it from Victory Junction. And so that was just a super cool, fun little thing getting to do. It's like, man, I'm working, but we're out here basically filming a 3-minute like video. It's just super fun.
No, that's.
And then Friday was insane at Charlotte.
Dude, I freaking bet. This was my travel day. I was traveling from Missouri.
This was your travel day. I was talking to you a little bit while you were on the road.
You saw I accidentally added 4 hours to my trip.
What'd you do?
So I left.
Did you take a wrong turn?
No, I left my girlfriend's from Missouri, and where I had been all week. And so I've obviously traveled with my rig, and so my computer and all this stuff. So I keep a backpack with all my chargers, with all my cables, with my laptop, with my headset.
Did you leave it in Missouri?
I got 2 hours away and realized it was the only thing I left. And the thing was, it was the only thing that I would have had to go back for. Anything.
So really, you added 6 hours because you had to go 2 hours to realize it, 2 hours back, and then 2 more to be back where you were.
But 2 of the hours would have been driven anyway.
Anyway, yeah, true. Okay.
So it was like it was supposed to be 11, and then I drove. Separate that out. I drove 2 hours.
Yeah,
so I had to go 2 hours back as well.
Oh,
and you restart the 11.
Sorry.
So it was 15 hours. I left at 9:30 Central Time and got to the hotel in South Boston at 3 a.m. Eastern Time.
I remember I texted you, so I was like, hey, you might be going through Kentucky. I was like, hey, there's a good ice cream place, and then I never heard from you again. So I wasn't that worried about it. I just thought it was funny that was.
Well, and I should be making that drive again at some point. So maybe I'll be able to look at
I'll let you know the place.
Dude, that part of
Friday
Kentucky is really nice.
Friday was nuts. It's Friday morning. We get to the racetrack about 9:30. I had to interview Lanie Buice at 10 for Victory Junction, and super nice. Such a fun interview. And while I was down there, this is when I was giving you the shout out to Christy Gormel, who is the PR person all over Rev Racing. She was like, hey.
Go ahead.
The PR person, she was like, hey, I was only supposed to interview Lanie. And she was like, hey, you want to interview Lavar? I can get that set up. Because I was asked to introduce to Lavar anyway. Talk to Lavar Scott. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, that was good. Isabella used to be part of our diversity program. She's a Toyota now, but she's literally right over there. I'm going to go grab her. Interviewed Isabella Robusto, and I was like, dude, you're out here doing my job for me. And I'm like, thank you so much. I'm going to give her a little shout out for that.
That's awesome.
For adding 2 interviews to my already busy day.
Yeah.
Dude, the ARCA garage is so fun, especially when you're either older or a similar age as to everybody that's racing.
Yeah.
And they're still, ARCA and truck drivers, to me, are still in that phase where, yeah, they're in NASCAR, but they're still, it's still fun to them. A lot of these guys that were there racing on Friday, they were back at the track Saturday and Sunday just hanging out.
Right, exactly.
Being a fan.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's just so fun. It's so relatable because, like, when you go see somebody race on Friday, you see them again Saturday and you just hang out and talk to them for a little bit.
And see, that's what I want to do so bad. Like, I'm so excited about that. My favorite thing, like, and I'll get to this when I talk about my Saturday, I just love getting to go and talk to drivers. It is just fun, especially when you just come at it from a level of you're just talking to them because they are just human beings. Like like drivers. I know they hate to be talked to, not hate,
like they're a celebrity,
but they appreciate when people don't.
If you don't if you treat someone like a celebrity, they're gonna treat you like a fan.
Exactly.
And like that's the one thing I noticed so many times is like the more I just go and just talk to somebody and just kind of hang out, it's like, dude, it's just like doing this right here.
Literally.
And so that's what was super cool. And then I went and I did, like I mentioned, I talked to Tanner Gray and Frankie Muniz the week before, interviewed both of them on Friday. I met Cory Heim. I didn't do an interview with him. Talked to him. Super nice guy. I just want to talk about how talented he is. Like, this dude's insanely good. But yeah, so those were fun interviews.
Bro should have about 6-7 wins this season already.
Okay. He's led over 700 laps this year. You know who has the second most laps and how many they've led?
I'm going to get... Ooh.
He's led over 700.
He's led over 700. I'm going to guess the number. I'm going to guess the next person has led 220.
188.
Okay.
And it's Chandler Smith.
Okay.
He has over almost 4 times the amount of laps led as the next driver.
Crazy. Bro is ready to move on from the truck series. It is time.
Get him out of there.
It is time.
It is time. It is time
because
to be in
he
Xfinity.
will not improve anymore.
Well, like literally can't.
I think he could have. I think he should have been in the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series this year. I know it's been hard for Toyota to kind of find him a spot, but like I think he should have been in the Xfinity Series at least this year because he is not being challenged.
Well, the more he does in the 2311 car, the more I look at that 35 ride and wonder how much of. And I like Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst is a great guy. Yeah. And like we were talking about drivers that bring a lot of money. He has a spot on a roster. He deserves to be in NASCAR. He is a good talent. He's won Xfinity races.
He's a good talent.
But how much of that is them getting the crew chief, the spotter, and the crew guys ready for Cory Heim?
And yeah. Well, and
I'm not saying that is a dig at Riley.
Right, and I don't want to say this either, but this might be a part of one of those situations that at this moment, like Riley Herbst's family bought most of that charter for 2311.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, and I'm not, again, this is not us saying that Riley is not good. He's not a good talent. Like,
he's won multiple Xfinity races.
He was good in Xfinity Series, but I don't think that is quite translated to Cup. And that's the thing. We've seen drivers that are great in the Xfinity Series and it doesn't translate to Cup. One of those is because it's such a different car.
Yeah, and like we said, Riley's not bad, but I mean Cory Heim is a generational.
And we've seen him get in that Cup seat, and the first time with 2311 and the 67, finished 13th.
He just yells out. Yeah, I mean he is done, and he did good when he was subbing for
Eric Jones.
Like he's done good every time he's gotten in a Cup car. He's looked like he belongs on the Cup track. Yeah. So I
think we'll absolutely see him in a seat in 2026.
Mm-hmm. And then finishing up Friday, I got to talk to Mason Maggio for quite a bit. Super nice guy. I love Mason.
He's on some podcast, and I remember
he's on Motor Stardom.
Yeah,
Motor Stardom.
I feel like he's cool.
He's a good dude. He's a cool guy. Talked to him. We just talked about podcasts. We talked a little bit about kind of what he's doing in racing right now. Just kind of interesting perspective.
Does some trucks. He does some Xfinity here and there.
And but that's kind of I had the conversation with him. This wasn't on camera or anything. Just about like what it's like going and having to get a ride every week.
Yeah,
what
did he say?
Getting unique sponsorships, and he was talking about because he doesn't when he's at the racetrack. Depending on the team, he'll have a PR person. But as far as sponsorships goes, he's his own agent.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of listening to the things he was saying about that, and that was really cool. I mean, we didn't get too in depth. We were, in the truck garage. ARCA qualifying was happening, so it was kind of loud. But just catching up because I was at his first ever truck race. Accidentally ran over his dad on pit road. We both swerved out from behind a pit box at the same time, and he just walked right into me, or I drove into him, depending on who you ask. So that's how I know Mason is because I just absolutely took out his dad on pit road at Gateway one year.
Notice, Gavin is a dangerous driver on pit road.
Watch out for me because
speeding on pit road, Gavin Grubbs.
Exactly. I've been called to the NASCAR hauler.
Dude, we should get a sticker for your chair when you're
speeding on pit road,
something like that. Watch out, excessive speeds.
You have to come do the irate. You have to come in and serve the black flag.
you have to come in and serve the black flag, or else you'll be pulled from the race.
race. I got to interview Daniel Dye for Victory Junction. So Daniel Dye's dad and Kyle Petty are actually friends. So Daniel Dye's really familiar with camp and what we do, and he's super fun to talk to. Awesome soundbite for him.
Really?
Did you watch the end of the Xfinity race?
No.
This isn't a soundbite of him from my interview. This is from the Xfinity race. You didn't watch the Xfinity race.
No, not yet. Dude,
I'm going to spoil part of it for you. I'm going to spoil part of it for you. Okay, I'm going to spoil the end. During overtime, under the caution, loses a wheel. And he spins out and ends up parked right up against the fence. This is overtime, so the race isn't over. He gets on the mic, cues himself, it goes, there it went when the tire comes off. And when he stops, he goes, it's a pleasure racing with you guys this week. And he just climbs out of the car, climbs in the ambulance, and drives off with overtime still to go in the race. And all that was missing was the left rear tire. He just cues up, he goes, it's a pleasure racing with you this week. And just gets out of the car.
I bet his team was pissed.
Dude, it was so funny, though.
Dude. Hey,
they're the ones that didn't put the wheel on.
When you got to talk to him, did you mention Timothy at all?
Oh, a little bit, yeah. He knew Timothy. He mentioned knowing Timothy.
Yeah.
He's really nice. Daniel's really nice. Yeah. And then Kyle Petty, you got to interview him. And I interviewed Kyle and Richard Petty both this weekend. And they were such a different perspective on my interview. And because all the interviews I interviewed drivers, it's about being excited, about promoting camp, being happy. And then when it's Kyle and Richard, it's telling the story of camp, talking about the legacy that camp has, the impact of camp, because they're the guys that are. Kyle basically founded it, and then him and Richard are both the face of camp, and
right.
Being so introspective with both of them as opposed to just like, hey, here's some crazy excited questions, this is what we're asking.
Yeah.
And so those were the most challenging 2 interviews, but also the most rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the different tone that they felt. I'm interested. Super excited to see those. Also, the truck race was great. Cory Heim dominated, but it was a good race.
Yeah.
Did you get to watch any of it?
Yeah.
It was fun.
I did get to. I watched that from
Time 24/7.
I watched that from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock that night, pausing in throughout. I was in.
Is something crazy.
I was in Knoxville to Virginia.
Something crazy. You were looking at our little group chat on Snapchat the other night when I was during the truck race, aren't you? So you saw what I was saying about So I was on pit road during the ARCA race, sitting behind Butterbean's pit stall. Met Butterbean. Dude, Butterbean's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. His grandma is from like an hour from where I'm at.
Life goal: go to Waffle House with Butterbean. I have a Waffle House koozie. I love
Waffle House.
It's great.
Well, it sounds like we know where we're eating when we finally get to hang out. We're going to Waffle House.
Heck yeah.
We're going to Waffle House. But no, so I got to talk to Butterbean for a little bit. And his mom and grandma were telling me his grandma, Butterbean's grandma, grew up an hour from where I'm from. In Arkansas. So I just thought that was a really cool soundbite. Little nip bit. Also, Butterbean's uncle's the biggest Joey Logano fan ever. And so we talked about Butterbean was like, hey, it's funny because he's like laughing about the All-Star race because Christopher Bell's one of his mentors, and like he's got family members and has always liked Joey, so that's just super funny. He's just talking about he said, dude, I can only imagine what you were thinking down at that pit box. And so that was just super fun. Butterbean's awesome. But I was by his pit box. So the Toyota Mobility pit box, accessible pit box, they saw me on pit road and they're like, hey, we had a cancellation or something happened. There's an opening. Do you want to watch stage 1 and 2 of the truck race from the Mobility pit box? And I'm like, yeah. Thank y'all guys so much. So I went and sat and watched it with his family gets on the pit box. It's a guy and his son and his daughter-in-law. They get on the pit box with him. And the guy, he's in a wheelchair, and he's sitting beside me. And, we're talking, asking where they're from. I'm like, oh, where are y'all from? He's like, oh, we're from Florida. We race. I'm like, where do you race? They go, we race at Five Flags. And I'm like, what class do y'all race? He goes, we run Crown Vics. I'm like, I got a buddy who runs an Outlaw there. Do y'all know Timothy Watts? He's like, yeah, we know him. He's a super nice guy. And I was like, what are the odds of this?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, so that was – I didn't know if you saw that or not.
I did. I did.
I was like, what are the odds of this?
So funny.
So that was Friday. Saturday.
Yeah. We get into my Saturday? Or was that Friday? That was Friday.
That was Friday, so I'm going to give you the super quick Saturday. No, the truck race was the Cory Heim show. Really, nothing else happened.
Yeah.
Saturday, I got to interview AJ Allmendinger, Kyle Busch, Josh Berry, Harrison Burton, and Richard Petty.
So freaking cool.
So awesome interviews.
God.
Middle of the day, I realized I didn't charge my wheelchair the night before. My wheelchair's like crawling half a mile an hour. So I have a miniature panic attack before I interview Josh Berry. So Josh Berry probably thinks I'm like the most rude person ever. But anyway, while I was interviewing Harrison Burton, I'm still stressed out. Me and Harrison.
You get bad when you're stressed.
I know, you've noticed.
Oh. I know you.
Yeah, I know. I get like freaked out. And no, so when I was talking to Harrison, I was still stressed out and I was kind of calming down a little bit, you know. It's kind of somebody I've known a long time, so it's a little comforting. I look at the big screen on the back of the straightaway, and it's an ad for like a phone, portable phone charger. It just says low battery in big black letters on the screen. And I'm just like holding in laughter because I'm like, all right, this is like my moment where I'm like, all right, everything's all right. This is funny. Interviewed Richard Petty, like I was telling you about, with similar to my Kyle Petty interview. Such a cool thing. And then I got to meet the comedian Bert Kreischer right after I interviewed Richard Petty.
Which hey, so what did you say about interviewing Richard Petty? About how
he was propped up on my wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like he had his foot standing on my fender and then
that's so
had his
cool?
arm on my headrest, just like leaned over. I was like, dude, this is awesome. Richard Petty's one of the coolest guys ever.
Dude.
Xfinity race. He said you didn't see it. I think it was probably the best race of the weekend.
I need to go back and rewatch it because that was
just
one
watch
of the only things
watch
I didn't
the
get to see.
highlights. It was great.
Because the only I didn't get to see it because I was
Yeah, before we talk about your weekend, let's get into some more racing that's back on the grass. The Show Me 100.
That's I wish I would have gotten to watch this race
I think we can give
live.
it the race. Can we give it the race of the year?
Or
not race of the year. Race
of
that
the
we
month.
watched.
Race of the month.
Race of the month. Race of the month for May is the Show Me 100.
Ooh, wait, new segment?
New segment.
New segment?
Race of the month. It's the Show Me 100.
Oh my gosh! Look, I've been telling you about dirt that I love the longer events. I love a little bit more of an endurance style event. And so I mean
that was everything
I love
you
Lucas
want
Oil
in a
Speedway.
race.
I love Lucas Oil Speedway. Obviously, love the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, and of course, I love Bobby Pierce. And so it was all there, all together, 100 laps.
I'm a big Hudson O'Neal guy, so I was.
Oh, I know. Overton was up near the top 5. RTJ had a bit of a low day. He battled up towards the top 3, qualified second, but really wasn't.
Yeah, RTJ was around the top 5 all
but he
race.
wasn't
Such
in the
a bad
winning.
day.
I know. I was going to say. Well, he wasn't. He's normally always in the winning conversation, and so he wasn't.
He's having a slow summer for his standards, but he's still up in the front, still leading the points. Like he's great.
He is.
But no, every move between Davenport and Hudson O'Neal the first 75 laps was pure cinema.
Yeah.
I mean, I forgot what lap it was around. I think it was around lap 70. Hudson O'Neal's like a whole second behind, rips the top.
Yeah.
Blows by him on the front stretch.
Well, and he had made some
If he would have won, that
mistakes.
would have been my move of the week, but he didn't win the race.
Yeah, he had made some really good moves. Speaking of moves, let's once we get done with the Show Me 100, let's do our bonehead and badass move. But
Can we talk about the similarities between Ross Chastain and Bobby Pierce this week?
seriously,
I mean, they had the same race.
they pretty much did.
They had the same
But Bobby
race.
Pierce, he I would say that
He was up near the front. He didn't start shotgun on the field.
but he had to do some work. Okay, had to shift my camera if you notice anything different. Family's making dinner. We didn't want to distract them or do any other things, but we were
what's
in
for
the Show
dinner?
Me
That's
100. Shrimp, bro.
Well, the real question
Shrimp?
now is what's for dinner? Shrimp? Shrimp gumbo, shrimp
And
scampi,
margaritas.
shrimp on stick. Ooh, sounds
So,
great.
The Show Me 100.
Dude, what a race.
I thought it was
I think
so
we've already talked about some of the moves. I went back and looked at our notes. Lap 44 was when Hudson O'Neal had that massive run in turn 3. Got around Jonathan Davenport. Jonathan Davenport retook the lead. Dude, they battled so much in this race.
I love that they were so close. Like, Bobby Pierce ran away a little bit towards the end, but I thought for a portion for about 20 laps, the three of them, once Bobby Pierce especially got up to them, for about 15 laps, they were all right there, a three-way battle for the lead.
I mean, there was a second where it was really a 5-man battle for the lead. You had Jonathan Davenport, Hudson O'Neal,
Dude, lap
Bobby
traffic,
Pierce, Brandon Overton, and RTJ.
Lap traffic was
all
a
5 under a blanket.
huge part of it.
And I mean, anytime you can have Jonathan Davenport, Hudson O'Neal, RTJ, and Bobby Pierce all, and then throw Brandon Overton in there, who is on his own great. The 5 of them in the same battle,
dude,
it's amazing. And But yeah, once Bobby Pierce got to the lead, that was lap 69. He kind of didn't look back,
No,
but he had to work for it.
he did. He did. He had to work
And
from mid pack, and he it took him a good bit. I think he was
yeah,
being,
and that's kind of
I would say he was the dirt surgeon of the evening.
the dirt surge. I like that.
Well, I got that
It's a
from
good
Kyle Haney, my partner at Sobo. He called Peyton
the
Sellers.
dirt
I think he
surgeon.
called him the surgeon, but I love the phrase, the short track surgeon.
You know, if Bobby Pierce wasn't already the smooth operator, that nickname might stick.
Dude,
Dirt racing's got the best nicknames ever.
I love it. I love it.
I
So,
mean,
he goes on, wins his second Show Me 100, 75K.
huge win for, and that's not even including the two 25K prelim nights.
Dude,
Hudson O'Neal.
Racing on dirt, that's why, like, I think people would equate, like, racing on dirt in, like, the Lucas Oil Series or World of Outlaws to maybe, racing in, like, the Truck Series or something like that. Like, I know
But it's without the overhead.
That is the top of dirt. Like, but
Mhm.
I think there's less steps in between. So I think people would put it on a lower level in their minds, at least, which it's not. I mean, it's the top of dirt. It is the best of the best. But you can go and you do it well, you make a living. Like, I mean,
I'm thinking I've had this conversation with you. The top dirt super late model guys, I think, are some of the best drivers in the world, no matter any discipline.
well, and talking about dirt, I should be getting connected with Hunter Schoenberg here pretty soon.
Yeah, we need a dirt guy.
I know. So I got to talk to my girlfriend's dad, and so we're close on
We're getting our schedule worked out here. We're about to have a packed summer.
We're about
on
to have
B-Man.
a schedule.
We're about to have a schedule, and dude, it's about to be so fun.
It's great.
Instead of being, hey, this is my butt. This is, and I'm not saying this in a bad way at all. I don't want this to sound bad. Instead of having people like we're friends with on here, we're going and getting some work done.
Yeah. We're
Which is great.
Our people are helping us to continue to expand.
We're building a network.
Building a network. Networking
Also
is so important, especially in the racing business.
I think it's about time we start looking into merch.
Dude, we need to get those stickers so that I can put one on my clipboard and that Timothy can put
I can get
on
one
his
on my
car.
computer. We need a huge one for the race
Wait,
car.
hey, can you design those stickers?
I think we should use our logo, honestly.
Well, I know. I'm saying, actually, then I need to start. Viewers, we're getting off track here. We're gonna have some stickers coming out soon, hopefully. Maybe some shirts later on.
Hats, shirts. I don't know. We're gonna have merch. There will be merch.
Okay, so the Show Me 100 goes on. That was great. Should I get into my Saturday?
Let's get into your Saturday. Let's say because my Sunday was the last. I was done working on Sunday. I just got to be a regular fan at the racetrack and just have a great time. So let's talk about your Saturday at Sobo because.
So I slept in that day. So because we have night races the rest of the season. I needed some good sleep the night before. So I woke up.
This is
in
Saturday
the hotel.
night, right?
This is Saturday. Well, this is Sunday or Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, Saturday morning.
So I wake up, and so I got up, started finishing some notes, just rounding everything off, because I thought about doing it at the track, but once I get to the track, I get so talkative that it's hard for me to focus sometimes until it comes to like we're on
Race
air.
time. Dude,
so
same.
Yeah, so I went ahead, finished up some notes, finalized all my stuff, organized it, everything. That was done, and by that point it was about 1 o'clock, and I went and got McDonald's. Need a quick pick me up for lunch.
What's your go-to McDonald's order?
Okay, so I usually get a McChicken or a spicy McChicken, a 10-piece nugget, and a hamburger. And I get it on the app, so it's cheaper. Oh, dude,
big boy,
dude, I could eat more.
Do you
than that,
add
bro.
one of those as a free item, or do you just do the 20%
I usually add a
off the
free
whole order?
item.
I got you. I always just do the 20% off the whole order.
And if you get 2 McChickens, one of them is $1. So it's like, I could eat a lot of food from McDonald's.
4 for $5 with a spicy McChicken.
Yeah, it's good. But so I did that, then drove over to the track, went ahead and got there, and it was great. Like, this is what I was saying earlier. One of my favorite parts about announcing and broadcasting is going and getting stories from drivers. Like, I love this. I think this is a God-given ability that the Lord has blessed me with. I love compiling and telling stories. So, like, I mean, a race broadcast is telling the story of the race, and it's
Yeah.
telling the story of the season. And so, it's talking to the championship leader, Trevor Ward. They changed some stuff up, like all this stuff. Which, speaking of, top 3 of the top 5 in NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series standings are Sobo regulars.
Nice.
And Trevor Ward is leading them all. And
Nice.
so, hey, means more. It's Sobo. So that's the thing. I love going down and getting stories from all the different divisions, all the drivers. I have so much fun in building a story for the broadcast.
Yeah.
So I go down there, get my information. It's so much fun. A lot of the drivers know me more now, so it's a lot easier to talk to them. So they open up a little bit. It's great. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to do that. That's one of my favorite parts. Then it's time to go up and start to talk on the PA, read all my sponsorships, get all of our stuff out, our branding and all that. And then we went ahead and got into the race, and it was an excellent night at racing. I said that South Boston is allergic to a bad race. It's just true.
I like that.
Every race we have is interesting, no matter what division, no matter what it is. Like, I don't know. It's the drivers, it's the track, it's all of it combined. South Boston is allergic to a bad race.
What were the best moments of the night?
Best moments of the night.
Give me a rundown of the best moments of each class,
best moment of the night.
Tell the story of the best race.
Best moment of the night was Lane Woods. Lane Woods, 14 years old, hasn't won at Sobo. 2 weeks ago, he's leading the race, and he's about to get his first career win. A lap car spins in front of him, nowhere to go, boom, head-on crash.
What
he's
class
done.
is this?
This is the limited sportsmen's, which are they're limited late models.
Yeah.
And so he is a really good driver, and it was absolute heartbreak. So he qualifies outside of the front row, and he goes on. He takes it away on the initial start. Like he grabs the lead. He leads the entire race and picks up his first win 2 weeks after heartbreak. Like
nice.
It was so much fun to call it to the end because it was fun. It was so fun to build that story. And I thought that was one of the best moments of him, just rebounding from that. Because I talked to him that morning, and it would be so easy. A month before that, he got his regular car killed. He got collected in a crash. They had to go to his backup they run as a late model. That crash the week before, he gets in with the lap car. And so they were able to fix that car. But it's like 2 races back to back are like some absolute heartbreakers for him. And it's really easy, especially as a young driver, to get down on your own confidence about that. I talked to him that morning. He was ready to go. I mean, it after 2 weeks, like when he was back that morning, it was almost like it didn't faze him. And he went out and proved it. He led every lap, got his first win. Lane Woods is a driver that we need to be watching.
I would put him. I'm going to have to start paying attention to him then.
Lane Woods, if he continues on the track that he is, like he could be one of those guys.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha.
So, because he is performing at a level that he's so young.
Are the late model stocks? Is that like y'all's prime division every week?
Yeah,
is
that's
that
our
highlighted
division. Yeah.
So, I didn't know if it was like a different one every week for y'all. Or...
Yeah, no, and that's Landen Pimbleton. You might know that name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he finally got a win again. He won once in 2021, once in 23, and so he got a win again in 25.
Every other year,
yeah.
I gotcha.
And so, but he always performs really well. There's just been a lot of struggles with him about just that final little thing. And I talked to him that morning, and so it was really cool. He was really emotional about that. But because he's only got 3 wins there, but he should have more. Like he is a good driver. He's racing the Cars Tour some. But that's one thing. We're so happy to have all those drivers keep coming back to Sobo. So, because I'm telling you, it doesn't get better than racing at South Boston. It really doesn't.
So Pimbleton won the late model stock race.
Mm-hmm.
How was that race? Any other thing interesting happened in the late model stock race?
Well, okay, so Pimble started pretty deep in the field. He was starting 6th.
Okay.
And so there were a couple, it was weird. We had twin late model races that day. Both of them exact same. Not in terms of who finished where, in terms of the cautions. It was 2 early cautions, and the rest was run out green. But so Pimbleton started, I think, in 6th. And through the 2 early cautions, he was able to get up to 3rd. And then it was Craig Moore, who is the crew chief for Lane Woods. And then it was Pimbleton and Peyton Sellers running in order.
I gotcha.
And Pimbleton was faster than Moore. But more at South Boston, you're able to kind of hold people off on the high side because you can pinch them off on exit. They can't quite get under you. And so Moore was doing that. Pimbleton had to kind of move him. He did it in a good way, but you got Peyton Sellers in your rear mirror. You have got to go. 7-time track champion, almost 62 career wins. Like you got to go.
It's great.
And so once Pimbleton got out,
Chase Burrow's team owner.
Yep. And once Pimbleton got out, he was the fastest car all day.
Awesome.
So it was just a real good night of racing. And later on, in our last late model, Sellers got taken out.
Oh.
They took a car 3 wide, him and Jacob Borst, inside and outside, put the car in the middle, and I think it looked like from the portion that Sellers, he was entering it 2 wide because he didn't know that Borst was on the bottom 3 wide. Borst was pushing up while Sellers is coming down. Sellers climbed the left front of that car, and then his car shot into the outside wall. That car is done.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good night of racing, and it
so
just
so is Pimbleton leading the points, I guess?
No, Trevor Ward.
Sellers.
Trevor Ward won that last one, but Pimbleton's in third, and I think he'll still be in third after. I don't know. It's going to be close. I think Pimbleton might move up to second. So, but and talking from the announcer, it's tight and it's great. I love it. I love when no one runs away with it and you just keep up with it all season. It creates for a good story. But as an announcer side, I thought that was one of our best broadcasts because it was just we continue to get better. And I got to give creds to Kyle, my co-announcer, and our producer Paul and our GM Brandon. Us four work really well together. Paul is an excellent announcer. He operates our cam guys well. Our cam guys are really good. Like we just have a really good team. Like what is it? Our mobile cam, like the guy who does our interviews, all that. He's the mobile guy on the Cars Tour. Like he is that guy.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Brandon Willard, who runs the flag stand, he's the guy with the Cars Tour. Our race director of the Cars Tour. Like we have a lot of good people at South Boston.
Nice.
So it was a great night.
That's awesome.
So I couldn't be more blessed to be where I am. Like I am surrounded by excellent talent.
I have to watch more Sobo races.
Dude, I'm telling you, go watch our.
This was not the week. This was not the week to do it.
No. But dude, I'm telling you, hey,
I'm the dirt guy, and I watched one dirt race.
If you are not at the Thunder Road Harley Davidson 200 in June,
I'll watch it.
You have got to watch it.
I'll watch it.
All the Cars Tour field will be there too.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
We'll have probably 30 cars show up.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll get you. Everybody I talk to at the Cars Tour, I'll tell you to go talk to them. You tell them get the B main on their mind too.
I will.
From somebody else.
I will.
It's good.
So. Anyway,
how about Sunday?
Dude, what a day.
The day you did not come to the Coke 600.
No, I know. We tried so hard to find me a pass.
Oh, dude,
I looked everywhere, dude. I looked everywhere.
Get it.
Well, Kevin Sheevy looked everywhere. Shout out to Kevin Sheevy.
No, I was talking to Kyle Weatherman. You know, he raced in the Xfinity Series last year. He couldn't get a pass.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, I told him to use his hard card from last year and nobody would notice.
That's funny.
I was like, use your hard card from last year. You still got it? They won't notice? And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Can't say I didn't. Can't say we didn't try.
Brandon Brown, my boss, like he had trouble finding one, and he's like well connected in NASCAR. But hey, he did tell me that pretty much any other NASCAR race, if I gave him a month notice, I could have a hard card. So if we want to go
hard card, dang.
Well, okay, sorry, a pass for that race.
Pass, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Sorry,
but hey, so if we want to go to one.
I have a few on my radar that I'm looking at the rest of this season, but I haven't made a decision yet.
Because I know that I could get a card, and you can get stuff from Joey. So,
hey,
I could probably get stuff.
You need to go to Richmond,
dude. When is that?
Because that's close to Sobo.
When is that?
I don't know. It's in the fall. It's right around the start of the playoffs.
Well, let's look at that one.
We'll look at it later because we got to talk about the Indy 500.
Oh, I know. Well, hey, let's start real quick. Did you watch anything from Monaco?
I watched that. It's Monaco. I know that there was one on-track pass, and I know that Lando Norris won.
Well, here's the thing. They changed for the 2 pit stop strategy this year. It honestly made the race worse. V-carb, or not V-carb anymore. Wait, is it V-carb? It is V-carb. Oh, my gosh. They've name changed so many times. them and Williams kind of played a game. They're slowing up the field, let their front drivers pit and get all their pit stops done. Then they switched and did it again.
Slow the field up.
I commend them because you have to do what was it within
At least
the
they
rules.
tried something.
But they didn't like to Williams. They were like, we don't like to race this way, but we've been forced to in this position. We got to get points, and it was pretty bad. It's a difficult conversation because Monaco, it is a crown jewel of F1. I love it. I love the track. I love the prestige of it. I love
On the F2 cars.
I saw that. I love the prestige of the event, but I think the cars are just too big. And I don't know.
You can't race.
I don't know how.
Literally, they cannot race there.
I think what we need to do, like the next year's regulations, the car's a little bit smaller. But I think we need to get it smaller, but still keep it safe. But I don't know, because I don't want to see Monaco off the calendar. But it is a true race where it's qualifying. And if you qualify in a position, you might gain or lose one spot with outside of the top 5. But besides that, you're going to finish within 1 or 2 spots of where you are. So it's tough. I do want to go someday just because it's prestigious. I mean, it really is. Like,
yeah, it would be super cool.
It's not about the race itself, which is sad. It should be about the race. But I do love the prestige, and I think it's so cool. But I think they do need to really figure out how they can improve the racing in any format, because it is truly impossible to pass. A lot of people have talked about taking out one of the chicanes near the end of the run. And that's what I'm thinking of, taking the pool chicane out, because it could produce enough of a DRS zone, possibly, I don't know, that you could maybe get a pass. I don't know. That's what they've talked about, maybe, because that's one of the only things you could do. Yeah, I agree with you.
You know how I feel about the FIA anyway.
Yeah. But Indy.
Indy 500, the biggest race on the race.
I thought the first 100 laps were excellent. I had a very different opinion about the last 100.
So I didn't honestly, I had to listen to the first 100 laps on the radio.
Honestly,
I watched the initial start on TV in a restaurant, got in the car, listened to it on the radio, watched on my phone, first 100 laps. Great. Dude, Scott McLaughlin, my heart broke for that guy.
Devastated.
And Penske has had this is a nightmare week for Team Penske.
It was awful.
I mean, I don't know who I feel worse for between McLaughlin, all of Penske, or Austin Cindric, the situation he's in now.
Yeah. Well, and
it's just a nightmare situation.
It really is. And hopefully they'll be able to rebound.
They'll rebound. And as an organization that I'm close to, it's just like, the second weekend after everything that went down.
Yep.
Because I was at the racetrack at Wilkesboro when the penalties happened with IndyCar.
Yep.
I remember
waking up at my girlfriend's and looking at my phone, and I was like,
I was there.
And I saw the Twitter post.
During Tim Cindric's little press conference interview he was doing, I was sitting with one of the guys on the 12 road crew, Harrison Burton, and one of the PR guys.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. And I just went up to see what they were doing. They said, we're talking about it. I was like, whoa, what? And then, like, a few days later, Penske lets Cindric and the other 2 head race engineers lets them go.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Tim Cindric was probably next in line to be in charge of Penske Racing. Like, not just IndyCar, all of it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're honestly doing a hard reset from the top on IndyCar, and there's going to be some things on the NASCAR side that I wouldn't be surprised that were reworked around.
Yeah.
Just to put the right people in the right places. So Penske's about to be in a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But no, the Indy 500, great at the start.
I would say great at the start.
Marco Andretti spun early.
Man, that was tough.
Top 4 wide. Kyle Larson, heartbreaking.
You saw what happened, though, right?
The thumbs up video?
No, he downshifted.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
Yeah, he downshifted going out of the short chute. Which I don't think he realized he did it, because people in his interview because he talked about he got loose, and people were like, oh, you downshifted. But I was like, I don't think that I think it was a reaction downshift. And so I don't think he realized
the end of the corner.
I don't think he realized until probably he watched a replay that he did it.
Because he shifted from 5th to 4th, not 6th.
And my mom actually made this point when we were talking about it. She was like, I wonder if that's his mind from NASCAR that they downshift from 5th to 4th. I wonder, even though it's different motion, I wonder if in his mindset he went to enter, his mind shifts was a little bit.
Put it in 4th gear.
Well, we'll just put it. He went from 4th to 3rd, but just his mindset was like
okay,
downshift. His mind shift was like downshift.
I don't think so because it was on a restart.
But I'm just no. But it was on a restart, but it was into turn 2, not into turn 1.
I still don't know because you're still gaining momentum.
I don't know, but here's the thing.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Nonetheless, that's why he spun, because he couldn't quite catch it. I think also he was having trouble with the new hybrid car. Like, I think he was definitely slower than he was last year.
Yeah, I noticed that you couldn't build. Has a lot of the same problems as the next gen car in NASCAR. I say next gen, Gen 7 Cup car.
Yeah.
Where when you catch up to somebody, if you don't have the biggest run ever,
and which is
stuck.
weird because we saw just a year ago in the 500.
But that wasn't the hybrid car.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. You just saw cars getting a run all the time, every lap. I mean, we saw near the end Pato O'Ward and who was it? Joseph Newgarden just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, and then this year it was just kind of wait in line, which I hated.
Yeah, it was follow people around.
And I think we saw that towards the end because I think it was partly because of the car, but largely because of those lap cars. They gave Alex Palou a draft, and so once Ericsson let Palou by and made that mistake, it was almost impossible for him to get back by. And Palou coasted to the finish.
Yeah, and like I said, is Palou the best driver in the world right now?
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about this last week.
Yes.
Last episode.
Alex Palou is on another level right now.
I think this right here, that win,
also
kind of put him ahead of Larson and Verstappen both.
I hated.
Or Byron or Lando or whoever else you want to put in that category. I think it's Alex Palou, and then you have like 6 guys.
This is the announcer in me. I love Will Buxton. I think he is really great. He's been a journalist for so long. He's a good storyteller. He's so good. When Alex Palou was coming back to the line, he was building up an amazing call to the line. And the caution came out, it ruined it. Because I remember the words. He had said, Alex Palou, he had said his career would not be fulfilled unless he had won the 500. He was building and it was. I hated it for Buxton because the thought into that was great. Like it really was, because I could hear it as an announcer in how the call to the line was going to go, and I was like, that would have been amazing. I think it would have been very on par with how Lee Diffie is able to come up with really good race-ending calls.
Yeah, I love Lee Diffie.
I do too. And I think Buxton was doing I think Buxton has done a really good job in terms of stuff with IndyCar. I miss him over at F1 just because I love him as a presence and as an F1 journalist. But on the IndyCar side, I think he has done a really good job of transitioning from a journalist to a lead announcer. So anyway, that's a little. But I hated that the lap cars kind of got in the way of the entire end. I really wanted Connor Daly to win because I like Connor Daly. So cool. He was doing really cool. He said in a press conference recently that he peed the seat for the first time. He said that. It was before the race even started. They were pacing.
Anytime an American wins Indy 500, I'm happy.
Yeah. I also hated it for that rookie. What was his name? Schwartzman? Robert Schwartzman?
Schwartzman.
I hated it. Dude, his crew. That wreck in the pit lane made me, like, I was physically hurting. And I know that he felt so horrible. But I think he definitely – that was his first ever oval race. Ever. Because he was an F2 driver.
Who caught on fire on pit road?
Newgarden.
No, Newgarden didn't catch on fire.
Oh, you're right. Oh, Remus VK?
Yeah, Remus VK caught on fire on pit road.
Yeah. So, and so did his fueler. So that was a tough one. There was just – I thought I really liked it because there was a lot of anomalies in the race.
It was a weird race. It was a fun race.
After like a lap 125, then it was lap cars in front towards the end, and it was kind of really a boring end, which I hated.
Yeah.
So
before we get into the last race, let's do our Bonehead of the Week and Badass of the Week.
You go ahead.
I'll lead us off with the Bonehead of the Week. Oh, I feel a little bit bad doing this.
I know. He's a great.
I love
him. I love him. He's so awesome. But he was a bit of a bonehead, not on purpose, but it happened.
Even if it is ARCA, Cletus McFarland,
yeah,
Garrett Mitchell, stayed out, ballsy move.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's more experienced of a race car driver than a lot of people give him
Well, and
credit
I was
for.
gonna say, did we talk about this?
He's
Like,
driven race
oh,
cars.
and that.
He's
but
not just a nobody.
this is his third ARCA race and his first in intermediate, and like even though that he made this mistake, like his racecraft is pretty darn good.
He's not bad.
No,
But he stayed
Made
out
a
on old
mistake.
tires, which is fine. Restarted, and I think if he wasn't in second, if this would have happened in the back of the pack, he would have spun himself out. Nobody else.
yeah,
Not bonehead of the week, but oh well. Get him next time. Learn from it. But he was responsible for Isabella's out of the race. Tyler Reif out of the race. Lanie Buice and William Sawalich, heavy damage.
yeah.
You took out a lot of
Some
cars.
good competitors too.
And drivers that this was Lanie Buice's second time on a mile and a half. She needed a race without damage. She needed a car to finish, to improve, and to show that she's getting better.
Yeah.
She had a damaged car. I was listening to her radio. There was enough damage on the car that it was messing up the way it would drive. I mean, it was still a competitive ARCA car because the ARCA field is so spread out top to bottom.
Yeah,
But she should have been in the top 6 or 7, not 10th.
Yeah,
And Sawalich, who is
probably should have been
by
fighting
ARCA
for the win.
standards, by ARCA standards, an animal, could get to the leader but not get around him.
Yeah,
And fell off there towards the end of the run, finishing 4th. But the fact that he got out and was just joking around and goofing around about it, I get that that's his persona and personality, but if you wreck yourself and get out and laugh, okay, good. But when you take out a half a dozen other cars, don't laugh about it.
yeah,
Don't make jokes.
yeah. I don't know if in the moment he didn't realize like
How many cars that
how many or who. Like I don't know. But
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I think that's more of the bonehead than the wreck. The getting out and be like,
Really?
oh, that was funny. That was funny. I wrecked 10
I
cars.
don't think I saw.
And
part
I'm not
of the
saying that in like
interview.
I'm not saying that being mean to him because he's a great guy. He's doing great things for the sport, but you have to be a little more self-aware in a situation like that.
Well, and I think I saw the interview.
And that's a
but
move that like
I didn't recall
you do on
some of that.
iRacing. You do that on iRacing.
Yeah.
On a restart in an Xfinity car
Yeah.
or a truck or anywhere at Charlotte. Charlotte's slick on a restart on old tires.
Well, and I think again
you're
that's a little bit of a thing of some inexperience. But I think I
But his crew chief left him out on old tires.
right, and so
It wasn't a one person made that decision. That was the crew chief, the spotter, and him all agreed on it,
Right.
knowing what could happen and knowing that he's out there having fun
yeah.
and keep him on as fresh of tires as possible and keep him in a position to finish the race. Don't
Right.
send him out there to just have a hard good time.
Right. Well, and that's one thing that I think as he's running this, like I think he is getting more serious about
Mhm.
ARCA stuff. So I think we'll continue to see a change in that aspect.
Him evolve a little bit.
But
yeah.
I think he just kind of went into his personality in his
Yeah.
interview. So
naturally.
yeah, and so I think one thing I would bet you that he went and talked to those drivers or messaged them or some
Mhm.
format. Because he was talking about Robusto and he didn't know who was driving the car, but he was like he felt terrible about taking out, Robusto.
Yeah, if it's
So-
like, yeah,
Gavin's bringing the hammer down.
I'm bringing the hammer down because at some point in a situation like that, you got to be Garrett, not Cletus.
That's true. So
And that's what I think in that situation.
So mine would have been Brandon Lopez missing the shift at North Wilkesboro and killing the beginning of the field. Brandon Lopez, I think he's been doing pretty darn good this year, but I would say that we've had some problems with missed shifts,
After
especially
the Blue Man group.
the Blue Man Group. I love it. That was one of my favorite things I've ever come up with. And, they've been doing pretty darn good, especially their team.
They have been.
And so, but I would have imagined this would have been something that a lot of drivers worked on after Cordeal. And so it was tough to see that incident happen.
That was a
again.
repeat offense.
It was. So, and I don't know if from him, I don't think he did it at Cordeal, but
but he should have been. Everybody needs to be practicing that every time.
Well, and
Like
the
Junior
interesting
said,
thing
shift
is
from second to third, second to third,
well,
second
but the
to third.
interesting thing is the draw between third and fourth on
Third and fourth.
the pro late is not
It's huge.
long. Is not long. It is in late model stock.
Okay,
It's different
gotcha.
apparently.
Gotcha.
So it seems like there needs to be, even on the pro late side, still third to fourth, third to fourth. But yeah, it took out some really good cars, like Jade Evedizian and some others. So that was a bit of one that's like, come on, bro.
Yeah. Now, badass move of the week. I'll let you go first. I went first for Bonehead.
Okay.
I'll let you go first with badass.
Well,
we can wrap it up.
Yeah. So Bobby Pierce.
It's funny because we already compared these two.
I know. Well, exactly. Bobby Pierce is mine because he had to work through the field to get to the front for the Show Me 100. He did it very methodically, almost as a surgeon. He was very smooth with it. He was a smooth operator. And went out and won 75K. And I think he did it in a really, he did not start near the front. And I thought it was going to be the Hudson O'Neal and JD show. But Bobby Pierce was
especially after Hudson won the first two prelim nights.
Yep. So, but hey, also a great weekend for Hudson O'Neal to go home with 50K.
He got his get back.
He did.
He got his get back. He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
He is back. Back again.
Yep. All right. Badass move of the week for me. I'm going with Ross Chastain. Started shotgun on the field. He was at the shop
first driver,
late Saturday night.
First driver to do that since 1969.
First to do that without a penalty because he didn't have a penalty.
Right.
He didn't get
and
qualified.
So it's been what? That's 55 years. 55 years
for someone to start dead last without a penalty to win a race. Tony Stewart won the Brickyard 400 from last in 2008.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the last time it's been done.
Yeah,
I remember. But that was from a penalty.
Yeah.
That was from a penalty. So, but yeah, Ross Chastain. I never noticed him in the race.
I was
gonna
say, he came out of nowhere, but he was there. But he was there at the end, and that is what the 600 is all about.
And he was ripping through the field at the end. Because I look up, he's in fourth or fifth, and I'm like, okay, where Chastain come from? And then I look up, and I'm like, oh, he's a second behind the leader. And then Denny pits, I'm like, he's gaining 2/10 a lap.
Yeah,
he's gonna get there.
Part of me hates that he did get stuck in the back of the field because imagine if he would have been up there fighting with Denny and Byron the whole time. That'd have been such a good race. Which, speaking of, I thought the battle between Hamlin and Byron was really entertaining.
It was.
So I think there was good racing all throughout the field. I think you and I have our opinions on the 7th gen car, and that you heard it.
It does good on mile and a half.
It does good on mile and a half, but I think it is a little bit of a facade in terms of its problems and the things that it does differently as compared to every other car we've had in the Cup Series before. But again, we talked about, you heard it from Ross Chastain. He and Byron were set up pretty similar in terms of the Chevy camp, so they were tight. And it was aero tight, and we've seen that a lot with this car.
How about just the overview of the race? Chase Briscoe on the pole showed some speed that he needed to show.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson got to the front, drove away. I thought it was going to be the Kyle Larson show.
I did too.
And then,
dude, I think
they went from bad to worse.
I think Indy got in his head just a little bit. How often do we see big mistakes like that, like spinning out on your own? That's not an often mistake from Larson.
No, but overdriving a corner and brushing the wall, that's a Larson mistake.
Right. But spinning out onto the front stretch,
that's weird.
So,
but how rough is turn 3 and 4 in Charlotte?
It is rough. Charlotte is rough, so I don't blame it. But, I just think I hate it that he had such a horrible day. Because, again, I do think he is one of the most versatile drivers, but there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, and saying that now.
He's won out twice in one day. He's not the best ever.
Right. So, and I think there's just going to be a lot of people.
Kicked everybody's butts the first half of the race.
He didn't close it out. Second time.
How about a shout out to John Hunter Nemechek and Noah Gragson running in the top 10?
I hated that, and good job, both of them. But there's a big difference between the two of them. Gragson brought it home. Nemechek made later mistakes. And I think what he showed, Hocevar wasn't on his own. I felt terrible for him. I'm a Hocevar fan in terms of that. I think he's getting better in terms of his racecraft, but I like what he brings in terms of I am going to race you how I'm going to race you. I don't
He's doing 100% every lap.
I don't like any driver intentionally spinning anyone or spinning anyone out to get a pass or wrecking them or anything. But this is NASCAR. We're gonna use the doors. We're gonna use the fenders. Okay. So
Mhm.
I like that Hocevar is not afraid to do those things, and he was having a great day. And I think who said it best? I can't remember if it was Kyle Petty or if it was Dale Jr. or it was Steve Letarte. It was one of the three of them. I think it was Steve Letarte. He was saying, even though the result was not there for Hocevar, I think he made a big statement in the race itself. And I think he proved to a lot of people that he is one of those guys that can be contending up front.
He's going to stick around in a Spire car, by the way.
Right. Which they've been having trouble this year.
And who do you feel worse for right now? Carson Hocevar, Scott McLaughlin?
McLaughlin. Because McLaughlin is not like
But
this
he's
is only
supposed
this
to
this
be
is
there.
I was gonna say this is only Hocevar's second year. McLaughlin, he is a tenured IndyCar driver.
But man, when that motor went on Hocevar, I just gutted
Fuck.
for the kid.
Yeah, me too. I was.
I say the kid, he's the same age as me.
But he has a lot to be proud of. Like I would say,
Oh,
he should hold his head high. There was nothing he could have done about the engine. Like he did not make a mistake. So if I'm Hocevar, that stinks. But there's nothing that I did as a driver, and so there's nothing that I can quote unquote learn from that aspect. But I think he really proved to a lot of people that he is deserving to be where he is at. Because I think a lot of people, Dale Jr. said it. He has a past, and a lot of people tag him for that. And I know that he doesn't love it, but he's going to race how he's going to race. But I think there was some maturity to be had. But I think he really proved to a lot of people that when he can race like that, he is. And so anyway, I think he gained a lot of fans that day.
He did.
So Willie B, I think he drove a great race, but I think he made errors toward the end in terms of he won all three stages, and
should never came off the top.
And that's the thing, you got to close that out. So I don't think
I get what he was trying to get into the clean air because he didn't want the air from Joey's lap car or about to be a lap car to slow him down.
Yeah.
So he tried to get out of the way, but when he got into the clean air, gave Ross the line.
Yep.
And Ross Chastain did Ross Chastain things.
Yep.
I'm looking at my notes here. I said, Byron uses dirty air to get past the 24. And I'm like, wait, no, that's not right. Close.
You probably wrote this sleep deprived.
I really did. I was typing this as it was happening, so I know I was sleep deprived there towards the end.
But
no, it was
I thought it was a good race. I have my reserves.
What was the better race of the day, the 500 or the 600?
600, absolutely. I thought Prime did such a great job covering it. I thought
Prime's excellent.
Prime was excellent. And again,
I was amazed about when we came to the house because I watched the end of Stage 3 and all of Stage 4. At the house, I was like, man, these guys are doing great.
Yeah. So I think Prime did a very good job on their opening.
What a booth.
What a booth. I thought.
I think Adam Alexander giving a little more time.
Adam Alexander.
Adam
Alexander is a really good talent. Adam Alexander knows how to tell a story.
He's amazing.
He's really good. Dale Jr. and Steve Letarte they're so good together. They are so good together. I love it. I thought Trevor Bayne did a really good job down on pit road. Marty Snyder did well. Marty Snyder, of course. And who else did we have?
Carl Edwards and Corey LaJoie as
what a combo.
What a combo we didn't know we needed, too.
I know.
Because I think their personalities mesh well because they are so different.
I agree.
Because Carl's an outgoing, like, happy-go-lucky guy. Corey's a serious guy, but they have the same amount of respect for racing.
Yep.
And the same amount of love for racing.
Yep.
And they both take NASCAR so seriously.
Yeah.
And I think the tone of what Prime is giving us is the most seriously and most dignified that NASCAR has looked on a national scale since the early to mid 2010s.
Yeah. And this is not for us to say that there's any stuff we're talking about Fox. Because, again, like we said earlier in the show, Fox, they have been there for 25 years NASCAR on Fox. Larry Mack was just saying stuff about it. They are tenured. but I think we're
They're
saying
great.
for Prime's first ever broadcast, I think they did a lot better than a lot of people were expecting.
Yeah, and what's funny is one of the races I was talking about, helpful to watch. I was like, man, the Hoosier 100 and the Little 500. I never even got to watch them.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, there's all these good races. I'm gonna try to watch. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the only dirt stuff I had time for was the
Hey,
Show Me 100.
Look,
And I was
after
at the car share races, so we got those in.
after Chastain's win, and I felt this way before, I've got to find me another case of Bush Apple. I just ran out today. I'm
Go
out.
get you some.
I can't find it, bro. It's so hard to find. Dude, I love Bush Apple. Dude, I'm gonna look for some because I'm telling you, before they stop doing it this year, I'm gonna buy like a few 30 racks. I'm gonna try to find because I love Bush Apple. Bush, Anheuser-Busch, please sponsor us. Please send me Bapple. Please. Somebody send this to Ross Chastain. I need Bapple so bad. It's so great. It is my favorite thing. It's my favorite beer. So I'm going to have to find more. But after Ross Chastain won, I definitely felt I needed some more. I felt that way before, but they're doing a real good marketing job. I think we said it one week.
Mhm.
I think we need more sponsors like Anheuser-Busch, like Busch Light, that are able to rally to their fans and consumers in building up NASCAR's brand. Because I think
how good is Ross at doing that?
Dude, he's so great. I'm telling you, that commercial that him and the Anheuser-Busch guy, the Busch Light guy have, where it's like, what's wrong with going in circles? That is a great commercial. It's great. It's great. So
I think we might break the record for our longest episode.
I think we're going to.
What are we at?
I don't know because we're in 3 segments, but I think we're over 2 hours.
Well,
I think it's time to end it.
I think it's time to end it, but
I think so.
No, I want to give one more shout out to Victory Junction, who I work for. If you want to support them and everything they do, visit victoryjunction.org. Tell them the B-Main sent you. But yeah, so that's what I want to thank them for the opportunity they've given me. Hopefully they're going to send me back to a racetrack soon, or even back out to Randleman, North Carolina, where camp is, do some work in the office. I got the rest of the summer to do some more work for them.
I'm telling you, just need to move up there, man.
That's the goal.
And my goal
That's
too.
The goal.
Bro,
we'll get out there.
Hey, I'm telling y'all, viewers, in like under probably 2 years, we could have a real like production area.
We might get a real producer. Even us.
We need to get that now.
We do. That's our next goal as a producer.
That is our next goal. But hey, we need money to do that. If you want to sponsor us, the B-Main Podcast 2024, no spaces, all lower caps, at gmail.com. Please message us about inquiries. Gavin is really good about being on the emails. So please bring us money so that we can continue to improve our podcast and elevate your brand.
Elevate your brand, elevate our brand. Everybody wins.
That's what I'm saying. So from me and Gavin here at the B-Main, episode 10, we're in the double digits now. We're going to keep on going.
That's 20 weeks. That's half a year.
That's half a year, and we're not stopping. Do not fret. Me and Gavin, we going to be here a long time. So thank you all for watching. We really appreciate y'all, and we'll see you again soon. See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.